Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to KUMB TV's Eyes Up Mother Brown for this afternoon's Premier League clash between West Ham United and Aston Villa. We begin today's show on a particularly sad note. For today, we're mourning the loss of one of our own, Martin Chaz Chandler, or as he was more popularly known by everyone on the KUMB forum, simply Romford. Chaz passed away yesterday following a long battle with cancer. He'd been spending some time at a nursing home close to his home, where he sadly passed away at the weekend. Ironically, perhaps, it was West Ham's biggest away game for many years, just 48 hours before when David Moyes' side travelled to Sevilla for the Europa League first leg tie. And of course, had he been in a position to, Chaz would no doubt have been busy organising travel to Spain for himself, and no doubt us and hundreds of fellow supporters who made the trip. So we'd like to dedicate today's show to Chaz, Big X, the man who's very much central to the development of KUMB for 15 years or so, from around 2000 to around 2015-16. Sleep tight, Big X, from all of us at the team. Pink Palermo, DL, joining me today on the stream, of course, fellow team members of Chaz's on KUMB. Pinky, I'll come to you first. Obviously, a very, very sad and poignant day for us at KUMB today. Your main memories of the big man?
Great bloke. Great bloke. Went out of his way to help so many supporters, myself included, okay, on many, many, many occasions. You know, overseas trips. You know, we'd go overseas. Chaz would organise everything. He'd organise the flights. He'd organise the hotels. He'd make sure that we all got to the game on time. And people think, well, anyone can do that. You just ring up EasyJet and all the rest of it. Really? Really?
Mm.
Try getting 50 West Ham United supporters out of a pub in Hamburg onto a bus, up 120 miles on the motorway to a place called Flensburg, off the other end in time, to get to another pub where you could have a few scoops. Then you go and watch West Ham. Then you'll get herded back onto the bus in a nice, friendly way. Everyone has a good time. No one is misbehaving. It's difficult. There's a skill to that, and there's a lot of commitment and a lot of risk, because do you know what? Chaz wouldn't have known everyone personally on those trips, you know, until they've been on the trip. Who do you think's put down the deposit on the coach?
Yep.
He did.
Yep.
Yeah. Who do you think's put in hours and hours of unpaid work organising it all? He did. And, you know, you'd sit and you'd have a beer in a bar with him and what have you. Friendly bloke, friendly as anything. Just for God's sake, don't mention Arsenal or golf. Okay?
Or Star Wars.
you'd be on an absolute loser on those topics. But seriously, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of supporters I've personally seen him help out over the years, whether it was making sure they got a pair of tickets, knew what they were doing, where they were going, that sort of stuff. Yeah, tremendous character, really tremendous character, and you know, you can just tell looking at the forum today, the number of people, you know, they were genuinely upset at his passing. You know, my phone's been fairly hot this morning with people that would know him because of where I live and where he used to work and what have you. But great character, proper West Ham, top draw bloke. Rest in peace, Chaz.
Oh, it's fantastic tribute. Thanks, Pinky. DL, you of course were a colleague of Chaz's for a while. Came in a bit later than the rest of us, of course, didn't you?
Yeah.
But you still worked with Chaz for a bit and got to know him quite well on the forum.
I did. Well, I got to know him in real life as well. Had a few beers with him before in East Ham Working Men's Club, a few away days, the Hartlepool Christmas parties. As I put in the thread, there was a club sort of bar thing in Hartlepool that had a balcony on it, and the thing that always stuck in my mind was Chaz on the bowl across the dance floor, and he just stuck out like a sore thumb, and even above the music, you could hear him chatting, as it really was in Chaz's world, and his laugh. And it was a thoroughly thoroughly decent bloke. Obviously, sometimes had his moments, but other than that, it was an all round. It was all round good egg, and
yeah, lovely words, gentlemen. Thank you, Chaz Chandler, aka Romford, on the KUMB forum, one of our original members. Will of course be very, very sadly missed, not just by us, but by all his friends and family with whom to whom we send our deepest and most sincere condolences this afternoon. Anyway, moving on to today's game. It's West Ham United versus Aston Villa at the London Olympic Stadium. West Ham back from Spain in midweek, as are one or two of us. Not with a Spanish donkey, Pinky, but a little bit of Spanish flu. We brought home in our suitcases instead, did we not?
Yeah, and listen, you know, we're not out of the woods on all the various illnesses that are going around. It's difficult, but if you want to support your team, you know, you got to travel. And if you travel, you bump into people and, you know, you will eventually fall foul of something. And it's unfortunate. So the price for going on Thursday is I can't go today. But that's the nature of the beast. So I'll be here watching it on the stream if I can get one. So I'm struggling there at the minute. But yeah, great trip to Europe. You know, 3,000 West Ham United supporters, impeccably behaved. Let's get that on the record straight away.
Yeah.
Didn't see a hint of trouble anywhere. You know, with our supporters. I know there was some widely reported stuff from Eintracht Frankfurt supporters on the Wednesday night.
Yes, indeed.
Let's be very clear. It was Eintracht Frankfurt supporters. And that was their first away game in 750 days. So, you know, they were literally just let out of their box, go to Spain and start misbehaving, which is a shame. But our lot, superb, great spirit amongst our travelling support, really good. Got behind the team pretty well, although you have to say the Seville fans taught us a little bit of a lesson there in terms of, you want atmosphere, boys, we'll show you how it's done. And
yeah, unbelievable, wasn't it? What a stadium. I think I made the point, Pinky, when writing the match report, that just ahead of their goal, about 5 minutes before, there was a lull in the game, but instead of what we might see at the London Olympic Stadium, you know, the atmosphere might go very flat and very quiet. All of a sudden, this chant that they started singing in the way, and then you look around the entire stadium, and all the scarves are going, and the whole stadium got behind them. And it almost felt as if they kind of sucked the ball into the goal when that goal came. It was an absolutely incredible experience and a totally different atmosphere to the sort you witness in the Premier League.
Very much so, but their expectations are different. You know, we love English football because it's crash, bang, wallop from minute 1 to minute 93.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, get stuck in, have some of that. Yeah. We love it. 100 miles an hour. We wouldn't want it any other way. We wouldn't go. Okay. Some of the overseas leagues, dare I say, it's a slightly different approach whereby they'll kind of understand that a coach, and they'll forgive a coach or a manager who will put a game to sleep for an hour and just say, for an hour, we're not going to try to score. We'll make sure we don't concede.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And supporters overseas will go along with that for the greater good.
Yeah.
They will sit there and go, do you know what? Nothing's going to happen to the 70th minute because, do you know what? We're up against a decent team. We can't afford to lose at home. So this is what we're going to do. And their supporters will back them all the way through that. So the expectations were, you know, if we're at home in the first leg and David Moyes went, well, I'm going to put them to sleep for 60 or 70 minutes and make sure nothing happens. You know, it'd be 15 seconds and we'll be on Moyes' back.
Yes,
get the ball forward, sort it out, you know, string some moves together, West Ham, all the rest of it. So, but to be fair, the Spanish fans were excellent.
Yeah, they were.
But they are the competition specialists in this particular competition.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't playing mugs on Thursday night. We were playing a very good team. I think a second in their league, something like that. And we got beat by the odd goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
think
mean,
that's
at no
really
point did you feel that we were out of the game, did you? I mean, Nick, how was your view of the game? I mean, did that come across to you that we were in the game sort of throughout the entire 90, 92, 93 minutes, whatever it was?
Yeah, it did, and yeah, again, I just thought it was another game where we just wasted chances. We could have had it wrapped up long before they scored.
Yeah.
Something's a miss up front, and if we can find our shooting boots or scoring boots and start converting some of these chances, we'll be there or thereabouts on Thursday. So I'm glad it was only 1-0. I think I said on the last Eyes Up, I'd actually take a 1-0 defeat to take back to London.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got. So we're still in it. If we find our shooting boots, I can't see any reason why we won't get past them. But we're going to need to score 3 to go through.
You fancy them to score, do you? I mean, yeah, that is the issue, isn't it? We're just so profligate in front of goal in recent weeks. We're just not finding the net, and you're looking at that thinking, well, you need at least 1 to take it to extra time penalties. You probably don't want to go that far, so you're looking at 2 goals, and then, of course, that's on the basis that you're going to keep them out. You don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet on Thursday?
No, I think they've got too much quality to not score. They're going to have their main attack back, aren't they, for our game? They're not going to be as short as they were on Thursday. And from where I was sitting in the pub, they still on Thursday they would still look pretty dangerous. So, yeah, I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. If we do, then we've only, I say only in inverted commas, we've only got to score 2. But again, the fact that recently we're struggling to even score 1.
Yeah.
We need to find our scoring boots are pretty sharpish. It's just sod's law that all of our front lot seem to have dried up all at the same time, including Antonio. So
yes, and unfortunately, one of our key goal scorers in recent weeks, Jared Bowen, unavailable yet again this afternoon for today's match with Villa, and also it seems, Pinky, we're missing Nikola Vlasic. I don't know if that's a tactical thing, given that he played most of the game on Thursday.
I think it's possible that it's just a recognition that we're going to need him on Thursday, kind of a hedging the bets if Bowen's still out. We'd like Bowen back on Thursday, and I'm sure the manager would like Vlasic to be available. I mean, at this point in time, one dares to say it, it is bare bones. A couple of the lads that were on the bench on Thursday night actually played a game on Friday night. Yeah. So, they're on the kite back to London late Thursday, and they're banging goals in 24 hours later, for the younger side. So we've got what we've got, and we can all sit there and say, look, we should have done this and we could have had that. Fact is, we didn't. So we've got to use what we've got to the best of our advantage. Thursday night, he went a 4-1-4-1, which I think worked reasonably well for most of the game. I don't know. I think we seem to lack a little bit of streetwise smarts in terms of, if your main threat is going to come from a set piece, then play to win set pieces in the final third. Yeah. Chuck it into the channels. Antonio, whatever you do, hold it in that corner, bounce off a defender's shin, get a corner kick. And there might be people's hearts sinking that I'm actually saying this. But at the end of the day, when you've got a Sunday league squad size, which we probably have, the dog and duck have got a better bench at the minute. You have to go with dog and duck tactics. And you say, do you know what? If our best chance of getting a goal is going to be a Craig Dawson header, a Kurt Zouma header, a Souček header, from a corner kick or a free kick in the final third, then you got to play to that and play for it. Well, it's that simple.
I mean, we're today. I mean, of course, we're facing a Villa team that we secured our best away win of the season against so far. Nick, going up to Villa Park back at the end of October, winning 4-1. Ben Johnson, Declan Rice, and the aforementioned Jared Bowen on the score sheet. That day, we haven't actually gone through the teams yet, have we? Nick, have you got the teams to hand?
I have indeed.
Would you like to do the honours, my friend?
We have kicked off, by the way. We're in the second minute.
Yeah.
I haven't got it on my stream yet. It's not come up. Yeah, it's still an advert break. I'm hoping I'm on the right stream. Anyway, yeah, the teams we've got are the West Ham lineup with Fabianski in goal, Johnson, Dawson, Zuma, and Cresswell at the back. Familiar midfield three of Rice, Susek, Fornals, with Lanzini, Benrahma, and Antonio as our front three. On the bench is Ariola, Fredericks, Diop, Masuaku, Noble, Krell, Okaflex, Perkins, and it's good to see also back a Ukrainian chap. Yarmolenko is back.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
Since the shenanigans that's going over there in his home country. So good to see him back.
And as for Villa?
As for Villa, we have Martinez in goal, Cash, Chambers, Mings. I can never pronounce this bloke's name. Digny, I'll call him. I can never pronounce it. McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Ramsey, Coutinho, Inns, and Watkins. On the bench, they've got Olsen, Concert, Young. Oh, I ain't going, that's a long word. I'm not reading that. Sanson, another 4-on-1 I can't pronounce, and another 4-on-1 I'm not even going to try and pronounce. Bailey and Traore.
There you go. That's the two teams this afternoon. Just reading a message, actually, chaps, from Dan B in the live chat says apparently Moyes said Vlasic was injured. I'm not quite sure to what extent, Pinky, but if that's the case, that's going to be another big blow for us ahead of next Thursday.
Yeah, but it's what it is, and you know, at the end of the day, you have to say, okay, Sonny Perkins, you're getting a game, son. You have to look at who you've got and say, well, you're next, because what we're going to do is start with 10 men. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, sometimes a manager's hand is forced by not who he wants to pick, but who can he pick? And if it comes to that, it comes to that. And I'd like to think that if it does come to that, then the manager will be strong enough to go with a youngster and say, make yourself a hero. You know, for today, you look at the bench and you think it's a bit thin. Yeah, by Premier League standards, because Aston Villa are not that far behind us. You know, if they beat us today, they're within half a dozen points of us. Yep. They'll have won 4 games on the bounce should they do so. So, you know, they'll come fairly confident today, but we need to dig deep this afternoon and say it's a different competition to what we played on Thursday. Points make prizes, and if we get enough points, we get another go in Europe next year. And let's dig deep today.
Yeah, I agree. I see on the thread that there are people saying about throwing today's game and concentrate on Thursday, but the danger of doing that is we sacrifice league position. And although we're not in it to win the league, because we're not going to do that without literally hundreds of millions of pounds worth of investment, our best shot is always to try and qualify for Europa. And there's no point sacrificing Europa next year for Europa this year. I don't understand that mentality at all. It's go out to win every single game that we can. Because if we fail on Tuesday, that's it. Then what? Then we could be without Thursday. Sorry, we could then be without European football next season because we sacrificed today, which is not a road I think we should be going down. Not a club of our size that is in Europe rarely. If we get Europe in 2 successive seasons, that'll be an absolutely phenomenal achievement for us. So,
good.
And the fact he's gone for a good side today. Mind you, he's not really got much choice of what he could have with today.
No, that's it. It's just very limited. We've just seen Benrahma sting the palms of Martinez. West Ham's first attack of the game, just coming up to 4 minutes gone. Nice work on the left-hand side by Aaron Cresswell. Putting the ball back to our Algerian who fired across the goal. Got it on target. Had a decent game, didn't he, Pinky, on Thursday? A bit of a cameo. I mean, the last 20, 25 minutes came on for, sort of made us look a little bit lively. I think he's just had another go. Yeah, he's just had another shot, which is a bit more typically, but Benrahma, 25 yards out, dribbles wide of the goal. But got a lot to prove, hasn't he, Pinky, after having that little tete-a-tete with David Moyes on the touchline a couple of weeks back?
Yeah, and you certainly have to be delivering a lot more than he's currently delivering to having public rows with your manager. That's for sure. Because, in those circumstances, there's usually only one winner, and it results in the player leaving in the next transfer window. And between you, I, and anyone watching, I think that's exactly what Benrahma will be. Yes. I think he will be leaving in the summer, because ultimately, for all the 15 and 20-minute cameos where he does a little bit of good work, in those timeframes, he also does things that would make a manager seriously concerned, and whether it's basic decision making or just, firing high, wide, and handsome yet again when he's got half a dozen players in better positions. He does it too often for it to be anything other than this is where he's at. And every player pulls the trigger occasionally in haste and thinks, I wish I'd done something else. Benny, it's almost as if he feels the pressure. He knows he's not quite good enough. He's trying too hard. And at, what is he now, 26, 27? He's not getting any better than where he is.
Happening for him, is it? I keep saying it. He's too good for the Championship. Not good enough for the Premier League. Maybe he'll suit Watford or somebody like that, or even Brentford. But he's not top. He's not top half material, which is a shame, because I don't like to see a signing fail. But I think a lot of us see from day one that he's a bit of a flash, and that's not. That's not to be harsh on him. So, if you're not good enough, you're just not good enough. He's not going to come good now. He's been here too long. He's been here, a year and a half nearly?
Yeah.
And it's just not happened to him. He had that little bit at the start of the season against in when we was on fire, but no, it's not going to happen for him now. No matter how hard we hope he does.
Let us know what you think on the live chat. Are you a fan of Benrahma? Do you think it's worth persevering, or do you think, like Pinky says, he's on his way in the summer? Let us know. West Ham on the attack as we speak. This is a good opportunity, and I think it's Pablo Fornals has just fired and given plenty of space on the edge of the area. He's just pulled his shot a little bit, and it's gone wide of the top. I don't think Martinez got a hand to it. Looks like he's just fired wide. Yeah, Martinez actually pulls his hand away because he knows it's going wide. Really good move by West Ham again. Antonio, instrumental in that one, found Fornals. He was given just a huge amount of space by Villa to line up the shot, but drags it wide. We talked about Benrahma, Pinky. I mean, Fornals has been a little bit off the ball lately as well, hasn't he? Not quite reaching the heights he did earlier in the season.
Yeah, and but A, I think he works a damn sight harder than Benny does generally. B, I think he's been given 2 or 3 different jobs to do for the team this season, which actually isn't a good sign, because I have a view that if you're really good enough, you'll get given the job you're best at because you've earned the right to do that job.
Yeah.
I like him. I think he's a good player, but I think he's a player that needs to chip in with another 3 or 4 goals more than he has done, truth be told. Mm-hmm. So, we keep saying, where are the goals coming from? Well, not enough are coming from him.
Yeah.
And so we need a few more from him, that's for sure. But I think, the difference between him and Benny is, I think he's worth persevering with. I think he's a proper footballer, more to the team. Benny's a bit more of a showman, and can do things that are slightly more spectacular, but actually does them far too infrequently to be of any real merit to the team. So I'd keep Fornals. But again, we're flogging the same players to death week in, week out. And if you look at the high energy that Fornals puts into a game, the kid's exhausted.
Yeah, he does work incredibly well. Villa have just been forced into an early change, I can confirm. And Nick, you're going to be happy with this one, because it's the unpronounceable fullback who's just been removed. Dina, I think, has pulled out. It looks like it's a thigh strain, replaced by the evergreen Ashley Young. And so Villa forced into a change after just 9 minutes, which I suppose bodes well for West Ham. But Young seems to be around forever, doesn't he, Nick? He's just one of them omnipresent players who's always about.
What, the one I can't pronounce?
Ashley Young.
Oh, Ashley Young. Sorry, yeah. Oh, he does. Yeah. Is he still going?
Well, yeah, he's out there now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've read his name out, didn't I? Yeah, I ain't with it today. Oh, well, I've just never had. No, see, the thing is, my pronunciation of players is, I've said before, I don't follow or watch any football outside of West Ham. So pronunciations of players, they just ain't my thing. And I think it's quite a punishment that I have to read out the teams. But, you know, it's in my own little style.
Well, as long as we get the picture. Villa just had a chance. Watkins was one of those players who was strongly linked with West Ham many times before moving from Brentford to Villa. I think they paid 30 million, didn't they, or something for him. West Ham just losing possession. It's Craig Dawson who has his pocket picked on the edge of the box, conceding possession, really in a dangerous position. And I think it was Ings combining with Watkins thereafter to produce the shot. But a really good block coming in from, not quite sure who it was, to be honest with you. So I won't guess. But it's a Villa corner anyway, which they're taking right now. Floated to the far post, headed back into the centre, nodded on towards goal, and it's an easy one for Lucas Fabianski. But Watkins, Pinky, is it a player that sort of took your eye at Brentford and maybe one that you felt could have done a job, as they say, at West Ham?
Okay, well, I'm going to give you one of these replies where I'll contradict myself a dozen times in it.
Okay.
Okay. There are no bargains for strikers from the lower leagues. Apart from, of course, Jamie Vardy, who we could have got for £1 million and the chairman wouldn't pay it, allegedly. So there's your risk, you know, and from the days when pretty much any club could go into the division lower, pick out the best striker and say, right, we'll see what he can do in the top flight now.
Yeah.
And instead of him being a 20-goal a season player, he's suddenly a 14-goal a season player, and say, well, fair enough, we'll kind of settle for that. They tend not to do it. They go from a 20-goal a season player to a 3-goal a season player that you've just spent £30 million on.
Yep.
Okay. And everyone goes, what a waste of money. Okay. It is so hard. Goals are the most precious commodity in the game. That's why strikers get paid what they get paid. You know, Sebastian Haller, there you go. You know, couldn't buy a thrill at our place. Was it 32 goals for Ajax this season, something like that?
Amazing, isn't it? Incredible.
You know, and how often do we see it? But it really is. If I was going to spend money on a striker, I'd want someone of proven Premier League capability, not potential. And I think Brentford have done very well selling some of their young players to other clubs. But I'd rather take a risk on Tony out of Brentford now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He, I might, having seen him in the top flight for a year, I might take a risk on. Yeah. Watkins, no, I don't think so.
I'm kind of with you on that. I think. I mean, Tony scored yesterday, didn't he? Looks a real asset to Brentford. But what about Danny Ings, Nick? Another player who cost Villa an awful lot of money in the summer, but you know, one who's at the wrong end of his 20. I think, is he 30 now? I think he might be 30. But you think it was a good buy for Villa, and again, someone who could have benefited us? Well, I mean, to be fair, let's be honest, any striker would have benefited us, wouldn't they, in the situation we're in? But you know, you get.
It would have done. I mean, he's one of these ones that breaks quite easy, isn't he? He's 29 now. I've just looked on Wikipedia, and he's scored 5 goals this season for Villa in 21 appearances, so it's shade under 1 in 4. Not the money that he went to Villa for, maybe half that. Yeah, maybe, but no, not what Villa paid for him. Not for me.
Okay. Hobo says, Steve Palmer says that Ashley Young must be about 100 years old by now, and Hobo says he should change his name by default to Ashley Getting On a Bit. Very good. Like that one, Hobo. Definitely seems to have been around forever. Memories of Aston Villa, gentlemen. Cast your minds back over the years to the many times we've met the villains. What are your favourites? What ones stand out? Nick, I'll come to you first on this one. Any particular memories for you of games against the villains that stand in your mind?
Marlon Harewood hat-trick.
Oh, so that was the promotion season, or the season after we were promoted, 2006, when we beat them was it 4-0 or 4-1?
I think it was 4-0.
That one, that's the one you're talking about, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Didn't we beat Villa in the run-up to the FA Cup as well in 2006? Wrongly.
Not sure. We was going back, it was Borough, Man City. Was it Bolton before that? I'm not sure if we played.
No. It was at Villa Park, wasn't it? The semi.
Oh, the semi, of course. Yeah. Well, Harewood again, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
yes.
no, that was the Villa connection. I know there was one somewhere along that season.
Any others?
No, blimey, it put me right on the spot here.
I have a bit. Yeah, I do apologise.
Jog me memory. Villa memories.
Let's go back. Let's go to Pinky. I'm sure Pinky's been to a fair few ties between the two teams over the years.
Oh, and many on my chimney.
Oh well, yeah. I'll come back to that one in a minute if I may.
I was going to go straight to the Harewood hat trick.
Yeah,
because I thought he was a player that was great value for West Ham United, Arlen Harewood.
Oh yes,
there was a time the people talk about Golden Sullivan saving the club and all the rest of it, or rather, Golden Sullivan talk about saving the club. I think what actually saved West Ham United in the really dark hours was the dowry that was left from some of the signings from Alan Pardew, of which Harewood was one, Ria Coker was another one, Collins and Gabardon another pair that he signed for us. I'll gloss over all the rubbish that he signed as well, but the likes of Harewood, we had good service from and then sold for decent money. So very good, very, very good indeed. Harewood for us that night, bangs in 3. Be delighted for him. Another guy that played the game with a smile on his face, as it should be. That would be the obvious one. My main thing about Villa is I think it's a lovely ground to go to. I think it's a decent football ground, and normally have a decent enough reception there from the locals. So they're a football club that I've got a lot of time for, actually, Aston Villa. And another one that's, dare I say it, you look at the money that's been spent on some clubs now. Villa got a bit unlucky. They got a billionaire, then bankrupted him. Maybe it's something about claret and blue. That's another thing we've got in common with them. But that would be the one I would go to. So I'm struggling a bit at the minute because I'm trying desperately to get a device that will get me a string. So
it's a little bit up and down everywhere. I think mine is also struggling, but I've just managed to get back in. I think Lanzini might have had a shot while I was away there, but it's still 0-0 anyway. 18 minutes gone. West Ham 0, Villa 0. For me, I think the big one, the one that really stands in the memory and stands the test of time. We're just waiting to see Villa in. Oh, this is trouble. This is trouble. We're fortunate we've survived. I think it was Coutinho who actually went through and wriggled his way into the 6-yard box. And let's just have another look at this, because the ball comes out onto the left-hand side. There's 3 players trying to. Oh yeah, and Coutinho actually goes for a back heel in the end. There's 3 players trying to take out a Villa player. I can't quite see who that is, but it's Coutinho who eventually has the final touch. And fortunately, Fabianski manages to get a hand in it and put it out for a corner. But Villa looking very, very dangerous there for a minute. We'll just stick with this corner, and then we'll come back to Villa memories of days gone by. Let's have a look. Ball swung in to the far post. Zuma heads it out. It was Ramsey actually who beat 3 West Ham players to get into the box. Danger over, and the ball's in Lucas Fabianski's hands. FA Cup quarter final, 1980. Ray Stewart, 89th minute, I think it was. That's the one that sticks in my mind against Villa. The game, of course, that they were Division 1, weren't they, at the time, Villa? In fact, I think, weren't they? It was only a couple of years, wasn't it, before they won the European Cup?
Yeah,
with that fantastic team with Gary Shaw and players like that. In Peter With, was With still there at the time? But
yes, he was.
Yeah, fantastic side. We beat them 1-0, didn't we, with that Stewart penalty right on the final minute, which was amazing. Paul Ince goal, of course, at Villa Park, where he dribbled something like 80 yards before slamming the ball in the top corner, was good. For the wrong reasons. I also remember, I think it finished up 1-1. an otherwise nondescript league game against Villa, in which Paolo Di Canio tried to feign a little chip penalty over David James. And David James just stood there and caught the ball. It was one of Paolo's worst penalties ever. But my favourite game against Villa would have to be, and in fact, this is one of my favourite West Ham games of all time, I've got to say, was the, you touched on, Nick, you touched on Mannygate, which was, of course, the game where it was the League Cup. Was it the Worthington Cup at the time? I think it was the Worthington Cup quarter-final, where we played Villa at the Bowling. It was it a 2-2 draw? Manny Omiini came on, didn't he, for the final few minutes of extra time, and no one had realised, or at least no one had picked up on the fact that he'd played for Gillingham, had he? Early in an earlier round of the competition, and we thought we were going to get thrown out, but it was deemed that a replay would be suffice or sufficient punishment for West Ham, and we played. We got beaten, didn't we, in the end? But the thing that stands out in that game for me was Gareth Southgate. 2 years after he'd missed a penalty for England against Germany in the Euro semis at Wembley, the one that cost us a place in the final, was given the task of taking a penalty in the shootout between West Ham and Villa. And it's the only time in my life I can ever remember an opposition player cheered to the spot as he strode forward to take a penalty, because people were absolutely convinced he was going to miss it again. And of course, that's exactly what transpired. He missed the penalty, and Upton Park just went wild. It was more laughter than cheers, and it was just one of them really unique off the cuff moments that you don't see that often in football. And I think it's got to be one of my favourite memories of all time of the old ground. As I say, of course, we were forced to play a replay, and we got beaten in true West Ham style. And I think Villa went on to play Leicester in the final, where I think Tony Cottee might have played for Villa, for Leicester. Sorry, but anyway, I digress. Nick, you were going to come in?
Yeah, sorry, you said it was a 2-2 draw, and I said, yeah, we won. Well, yeah, we did. We won on penalties, so yeah, just ignore me. Yeah, played for my local team, did Manny. I mean, forgot. I remember sitting there listening to, I heard it on the wireless.
Yeah.
When they said he was coming on, I was like, hang on, he played for Gillingham a few weeks ago in this competition.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe there's no cup ties, and thought nothing of it until, again, on the radio the next day, they're saying that we're being investigated. And I'm like, I knew it. Yeah. Of course, in typical fashion, as you say, we lose the replay quite convincingly. So
we did.
And that's quite a remarkable thing, though, isn't it? A professional football club. You know, just it's tremendous. Yeah, that is the most West Ham thing ever.
That's the thing, isn't it? With all the mistakes that GSB have made and stuff like that, and the farces. It's been happening long before them.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Harry Redknapp, there seemed to be something every week during his tenure that, you know, you'd just say it's just so typically West Ham. It's not unique, is it, to the current administration?
It's not.
You know, even like things like buying Mauricio Tirico from Tottenham and in breaking down after 35 minutes, or who was the ex-Liverpool guy who played against Jokerit in the Rob? What was his name? Against Jokerit in the Intertoto, played about 30 minutes of football for us, and then that was it. He never played football again. Can't think of his name now. Come back. If anyone on the stream remembers, let us know. Ex-Liverpool defender, signed for West Ham, played against, I think it was Jokerit he played against in the Intertoto Cup. Sorry?
Gary Charles?
No, not Gary Charles. There's another one, though, wasn't there? I mean, Charlo was essentially suffering with, he was an alcoholic, wasn't he, when he joined West Ham? And that all went wrong, didn't it? But he did an Antonio, didn't he, Gary Charles? He crashed his car, but did a runner from the scene, and the police found a bottle of vodka or something in the passenger seat. It wasn't very well disguised.
Rob Jones, was it?
Rob Jones, yes, of course. Rob Jones, thank you, Nick. Yeah, played. I think he played one half for us, or may have played the whole game and never played again. I don't think he played any games for anyone after that. I think that was the end of his career. But Adrian Whitbread and Joey Beauchamp and people like that, you know, we've had a few.
We have.
Of things like that during the Redknapp reign. But anyway, West Ham have a corner. Coming back to today's game, West Ham v Villa, 25 minutes on the clock, still 0-0. West Ham have a corner. There's an interesting train lining up. There's 4 West Ham players in a row, faced by 4 Villa players. which is very, very interesting. We'll just stick with this for a second just to see what happens. Ball floated over from Cresswell, and it's nodded out as a Villa player on the deck holding his head. Not sure who that is. We did just see actually Matty Cash, the other Villa fullback, receiving extensive treatment. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But going back to, I mean, Steve Palmer says that's the one, boss. A bit of crowd trouble there, I think, too. Which game was that, Steve? Let me know which one you're referring to. Sorry, it's a few minutes since you posted your comment. Hobo says, I was yelling at the radio as well, though I was convinced Manny had played for Bolton in the Cup. So obviously there was quite a few of you, or quite a few of the fans who were aware. Now, who was it? Who was the guy? Graham McCrell, wasn't it? It was Graham McCrell who was the guy who fell on his sword for that, for the Mannygate incident. And McCrell was also, was he not the safety officer at Hillsborough? I think when that happened, he was working at Sheffield Wednesday at the time. Anyway, came to West Ham, and he took the full brunt of that failure to spot that Omiyini had played for Gillingham and resigned, left the club after a few months. I think he took his secretary, someone called Allison, with him as well, if I remember. It's a long time ago, can't remember. Villa quarter-final for Steve Palmer, saying, yeah, Rob Jones got a yellow in the game. Was it Jokerit, Steve? Can confirm. Let me know if it was.
Yeah, it was Jokerit.
It was Jokerit, Nick.
Was I've got the match stats and everything up in front of me, actually.
And that was the only game, was it not, that he played for us? I think that's right, if I remember correctly.
Rob Jones, what we got?
Because he had a good career at Liverpool, didn't he? Was a decent player there, but didn't work out for him. Pinky, any other sort of, I mean, we're talking about West Ham fiasco. Sorry, Nick, go on.
One game, retired.
One, that was it. So another Tarico. We're talking about, I mean, Nick, we can broaden this a bit, can't we? We're talking about West Ham fiascos and saying that it certainly isn't exclusive to the current administration. What are your favourites or least favourites, should we perhaps say, sort of looking back over the years? And you know, the one that's made you sort of face palm and just go, yeah, only at West Ham could that happen?
It's got to be the Manny one. The get the teeth in. The floodlight failures against Palace.
Oh, now there was a night. Another redneck one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which you've got to be careful what you say in here for things. But that was a bit odd, because I'm sure, weren't there a couple of games beforehand as well we had a floodlight failure?
I'm not sure if we had any, but there were certainly some games, weren't there, that experienced a similar thing. And after as well, I think.
That's, of course, the Tevez and Mascherano.
Right. Dear, oh dear.
The most expensive face palm in history.
Yes. Just briefly cutting in while Pinky's looking for a stream. Just seeing West Ham go very close. Souček getting on the end of an Aaron Cresswell header. It's a really, really terrible clearance by Villa straight into the path of Aaron Cresswell, who sent across into the near post. Thomas Souček stooping low to send a header narrowly wide, hits the side netting, only a foot or so wide. Martinez scrambling across, probably would have had it covered anyway, but closest West Ham have come so far. Tevez gate, yes, in fact, anything with gate on it has proven to be. We've had Manny gate, we had Tevez gate. What was it, the one we had recently, a few weeks ago? It's just completely slipped my mind. Catgate, of course. Catgate, of course we did. Yeah, we've had a few. Oh yeah, I mean the Tevez thing. I mean, can you remember your reaction when you woke up on that what was it, the 1st of September 2006, wasn't it, to find out that we'd signed Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano?
I was actually following it on because they were going on about them joining Man, because they were sort of were always going to go somewhere as a pair, and I remember it being all about them going to Man United.
Right.
And I was at the time I was seeing a girl who lived in Tame in Oxfordshire, and I was spending a few days around her house, and she was at work and she had Sky, so I was sitting there all day in my boxer shorts just watching Sky Sports News, watching it all unfold, and I was like, nah, this can't be right. It was, and then there's that, the famous picture now of Pardew standing with them in front of the tunnel, both of them looking completely perplexed, and just say, how the hell have I ended up here?
That's it.
And and then it happened, and we was riding on this crest of a wave after the FA Cup final, and then there was the European game that Mascherano played, Palermo, wasn't it? And we lost.
Yes, Indeed.
And that's when you thought, this is all going to go. Something's not right here. And so it turned out. But I think the face palm of it all wasn't just the Tevez and Mascherano thing. It's that whole period in the club's history. I think the Tevez Gate, the project, the Scott Duxbury, basically, the Duckers years.
Duckers, yes.
The project, Zola, selling players from under curbs.
Yeah.
It was just a shambles. And then, of course, the Biscuit Barons going bust. That was, they were a mental few years.
Well, it was a mental few years. And I think, actually, Pinky, see you back with us. I think Pinky's made the point before, if I remember correctly, that you could actually trace back all our current woes and ills to that. Am I right, Pinky? If I remember you right, to that signing. Yeah,
absolutely. Because whilst Tevez was loved as a player by our support, I mean, they were without a doubt the 7 most expensive goals in West Ham United's history.
Certainly,
because they cost us about £4 million a goal.
Yeah,
ultimately, and at the time, just before Terry bailed out, the seasons before accounts, I think the club was something like 17 or 20 million pounds in debt.
Yeah.
Okay? Which, if you own half a dozen caravans or whatever it is Terry gets his money from, is a lot of debt. Okay. But to anyone with some vision with the way the Premier League was going to go and what have you, I think actually it's small change. It's small change. So you look at it, the club was not in a financial hole when Terry Brown sold up per se.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that he allowed those deals to go through on his watch that then became a liability that the subsequent owners had to essentially fund.
Yeah.
And the Icelandics were entirely honourable with West Ham United.
Yes.
And I will defend them to the death. Because they put in multi-million pounds of equity. Yep. Every time Nick Igo went to them and said, give us more money, it arrived when they had money to give. Okay. Now, you could argue, well, it wasn't really their money. It was all borrowed money based on, should we say, fanciful asset valuations that some banker had made on certain things. But they were hardly alone in that at that time, in that era. And the long and the short of it is we got really unlucky with the Biscuit Baron. Really unlucky. But they were generally honourable. And I'd also say Strammer Banking Administration, I'll sing their praises as well, because before Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Gold arrived, in the November before they arrived, Strammer Banking Administration injected £10 million of money into West Ham United. But ultimately, that was the money that kept us afloat. Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Gold then persuaded them to convert that to an equity stake. And that now is the stake that Trip Smith owns, essentially. Yeah. So they're the guys really that, you know, the Icelandics actually saved West Ham United. There's been no doubt, had they not put in that 10 million quid when they did, we would have got into administration. No question about it. Now, the argument then could be, maybe we would have been better off in our admin.
Oh, Leicester were, weren't they?
You know, Southampton,
yeah,
Crystal Palace a few times. Yeah, you know, now whilst it's a terrible thing because it's Ethel, the sandwich lady, that always gets hammered. You know, at the end of the day, it may have been a better option for West Ham. It really may have been, because we've struggled with those debts ever since. You know, the £28 million that we shelled out to the thieves at Sheffield United.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just that, Pinky, was it? I mean, we paid the. You talk about the colossal funds that we were forced to pay during that year. I mean, there was a £5 million fine, was there not, to the Premier League, when the original decision was made. There was a hefty payment agent's fee to bring them in for Kia Joorabchian, and also upon their departure as well. I think it was something like 5 or 6 million. Then, of course, you've got the wages to the two players, which I'm sure weren't, insubstantial as well. So, you probably, I mean, as you said, in today's money, it doesn't seem such a vast sum of money, but even just 15 years ago, that was a colossal amount of money, and probably more than double what the club's debt was at the time that we shelled out just for those one or two players.
For sure. And add up the fees we got for Carrick, Defoe, Lampard, Joe Cole. Yeah. Every penny of that ended up with Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Every penny of it.
Yep.
Sheffield United. And I can only express my utter disappointment that they're climbing in the Championship again. And I'd like every club in the Championship to do their duty and prevent Sheffield United winning another point. Because, people at the minute, they're all feeling sorry for Chelsea Football Club. Okay? You can't turn on the wireless at the minute without some media lovey going, oh, poor old Chelsea, and all the rest of it. When we all know, and everyone's known, that club has been bankrolled by the stolen proceeds from the Russian people. Okay? The money's nicked. The whole thing is built on stolen proceeds.
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to feel sorry for Chelsea Football Club. West Ham United, who made essentially what was an administrative technical error, it was no more than that. We end up getting hammered for well over £30 million in total, when £30 million was £30 million, and it's plagued us for 15 years.
Yeah, it has. It's an interesting, and I'm sure in years to come, people will look back at the timeline of the club and look at that, and we probably wouldn't have had the same, and it's just you look at, you mentioned the Icelandic situation there. And it looked so good, didn't it, for a while? I mean, we had Tevez, Mascherano come in. It wasn't just those players. I mean, Luis Morte was the first, wasn't he? But you had Lucas Neal and who was that? What's his name from Arsenal? Oh, Freddie Ljungberg, who was still a decent player at the time.
In his underpants.
Yes. Nobby Solano did a decent job. Sorry? Of course, Scotty Parker. Kieran Dyer, who was a good signing at the time. Unfortunately, injury, done for him. But we were bringing in some really good players, and we were going some. Just going back to what we were saying about the West Ham disasters. Just a couple more. Steve Palmer, Berkovic, Hartson. Yeah, there's a classic. Dan Robinson, Lasagna Gate. Which they tried. Tottenham, of course, tried to blame West Ham, didn't they? For that, but it turned out it was nothing to do with West Ham.
We were moonlighting actually as cooks in the Marriott in Canary Wharf, did they?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Instead of cheap hotel, you take your chances.
Exactly. Dean Ashton's injury on international duty, says Bob Claret. Not a gaff, but so very, very West Ham. Craven Moorhead saying, I remember a piece you did on Steve Cabot at Sheffield United, who did very similar, and they never got punished. Yeah, of course. Steve Cabot, it was from Watford, I think, wasn't it? There was some sort of agreement in place that meant he didn't play against them, if I remember rightly, a long time ago. But let us know any other favourite West Ham or least favourite West Ham gaffes that you remember over the years. Let us know. Just going back to the game briefly. As we're talking about other stuff, nothing really happening. Obviously, it's just in the 40th minute. West Ham 0, Villa 0. No real chances. Villa Chambers was also down for a while, receiving lengthy treatment. So Villa have had a bit of that this half. What's Craven Moorhead saying? It was a joke, wasn't it? Talking about Sheffield United, they were 10 points clear of us at one stage, and they blew it. They also missed a penalty on the final day, and they get £25 million for their own mess ups. I can't show that message, Craven, unfortunately. Otherwise, we'll get told off by YouTube and for swearing. So feel free to post it again, but without the the obscenity, and it will be fine. I mean, no love for Sheffield United, Nick, around these parts still. And do you still bear a grudge? I mean, I'm with Pinky. I hope everything they do turns to dust and they fall off the edge of the world, basically.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. They had it in their own hands. It's nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
They messed it up, good and proper, and then blamed us. And people fell for it. Kept taking us to court time and time again until they finally got the answer they wanted. Because that's the other thing that a lot of people seem to forget is that they appealed so many times and it got thrown out of court so many times until we inexplicably agreed to this arbitrary court where the decision was binding with no right of appeal and all that caper, and bang, we lost it. See, that's just typical West Ham, where we win all the court cases.
Well, here's where it gets interesting with the aforementioned Mr. Duxbury. And given his profession, I'm going to have to choose my words exceptionally carefully here. Okay? But I think where they finally nailed us was on something that he couldn't admit to because it made an impact on his ability to earn a living in his professional capacity.
Right.
Okay. And therefore, Doris, the tea lady, I think was the person who was designated as being the person that had reviewed the rule book. Okay. When the whole world would believe it was more likely to be the aforementioned Mr. Duxbury. But if he admitted it, at that point in proceedings, it potentially, and I apologise to my learned friends in advance, I will donate a reasonable amount to charity if I've got this wrong, okay, that might have contradicted previously submitted comments by the aforementioned Mr. Duxbury to a different hearing. And therefore,
Scott was the club's legal secretary at the time, was he not?
Yes.
If I remember rightly, yeah, before becoming CEO, yeah.
And therefore, if he gave the answer, then ultimately it meant it said something incorrect previously. Therefore, it was Doris the tea lady that was the person who checked the rule book. Something along those lines. I'm sure somebody more knowledgeable than me, and I'm not suggesting at any stage that any of the people who I've named at any stage have told any lies. Okay, I want to be very clear on that.
Indeed.
Okay? I've got nothing left. Don't sue me for any more.
A very interesting situation. Of course, as we said, this is trouble. Free kick for Villa, curled into the far post. Took a strange deflection, but fortunately, it rolled straight into the hands of Lucas Fabianski, who's released Declan Rice on the right hand side, and West Ham looked to break. It's still 0-0, by the way. 43 minutes gone. Not really much goal mouth action. Hence why we're talking about Duckers and Tevez and Eggy and things like that, and tribunals and Sheffield United. I know Noam and I, actually both Noam and I met Scott Duxbury at the club about a year after he was made CEO and Zola had been brought in, and we sat down with him for a chat for about 90 minutes. And to his credit, he was completely open. Unfortunately, there was quite a bit of information that we were regaled with that we were unable to publish. But suffice to say, he was very, very scathing of Richard Scudamore at the time, who was, of course, the Premier League, or the Premiership as it was at the time's head honcho. Let's just come back to the game for a minute, because we've seen an incident here. I think Manuel Lanzini has just been booked for booting a Villa player in the head. Yet another Villa player's on the deck. Now, Lanzini is just checking to see if he's okay. Let's have a look again. It's that's nasty. That's nasty. So, no fault of it's absolutely no fault of Lanzini's. He's tried to hook the ball over his head, and as he's done it, the Villa player has come through. It's their number 6, Douglas Luiz, has come through, and he's actually taken Lanzini's toe right on his nose and just fallen to the ground in a heap. Lanzini's been booked presumably for dangerous play. I'm not sure it was really. He was completely unaware of what he'd done, but I suppose in those circumstances, you're always going to be booked. But that's the 4th Villa player on the deck in this first half receiving treatment. Anyway, yeah. So that was he gave us a really open interview. It is still available on KUMB if you want to go back and look at that. If you go to where is it? There's the drop-down menu on the site. If you go to WHU/KUMB, and then from there you go to KUMB and then KUMB Q&As, and scroll down and you'll find the Scott Duxbury interview from 2008-09 when it was. But yeah, he was very, very scathing in the Premier League, and they felt they had no choice but to make an out of. It was not out of court because it was a tribunal, but you know, they needed to make a settlement to avoid being forced to pay an awful lot more than the 25 million or whatever it was, I think, that the club were forced to pay Sheffield United. But anyway, yeah, a stain on West Ham's history, and as Pinky, I think, makes a very valid point to say that it had ramifications right through to the current day, really, in terms of the money it cost us. But
yeah, you just think that whole era where we slapped an absurd price tag on Matthew Upson, and you know, is trying to create the impression that wasn't really a fire sale going on, when actually it was a fire sale going on.
yes,
We were desperately trying to A, slash the wage bill, B, get some money in to settle some of the transfer liabilities and so forth. And that's how we ended up knocking out Ginge Collins at a knockdown rate to Aston Villa, which are obviously today's opponents, because no one bit on Matthew Upson. I think at 11 or 12 million pounds he wanted from at the time. James Collins at 4.5 cash. Thank you very much. We'll have him. And yeah, we lost a very good player, not because of, you know, it was him we wanted to sell, but we were in the Leeds United territory then of, I think it was Leeds and Blackburn. And I forget which direction it was, but I think it was Leeds when they started going skint. The Blackburn chairman phoned up and said, you know, who have you got for sale? And was basically told, you can have any player you want, but it's £5 million, it's cash, it has to be today. And I think it was David Batty that moved clubs. I forget which way he went, but that was, you know, that was the nature of it.
Yeah.
And it's what happens when football clubs go skint. We had the same thing with Jimmy Collins, you know, hooked off the training ground, whoosh, you can go to Villa now because we need the money.
Was it Collins, or was it George McCarthy that forced Kirbishley to quit? I'm trying to remember, or was it actually? It might have been Anton. In fact, was it? Or it could have been. Which one of the three? Does anyone remember?
Both of them were sold from under Kirbishley's nose. Can we just quickly go back to the game a minute?
We can, Nick. Yes, there was a match going on.
I've just seen Nick Danzini booking. There's no way that should have been a booking. He was going to clear the ball, and a Villa player was running, literally bad luck, has caught a boot in the face for running in. Wasn't even dangerous play. I think the referees had a bit of a mare there. He just couldn't wait to get that card out. There was no way that should have been a booking. Not in a million.
I think it's one of those, isn't it, Nick, where if you're a striker in the 18-yard box and you do that, you're okay. But if you raise your foot higher than your waist anywhere else in the pitch, then, you know, if there's another player in the vicinity, it can generally end up as a booking or perhaps even worse. Never understood that. There seems to be, you know, overhead kicks, which are one of the greatest ways of scoring a goal. They're fine. You can do that, even if you catch a player in the face. But anywhere else, and that can happen. But
it's like, was it the Brighton game yesterday? The keeper committed a full-on assault on the Liverpool player.
Oh, he clotheslined him, didn't he?
You know,
absolutely took him out.
Doing that in the high street, and you're looking at a 2 or 5 stretch. You are, you know. I mean, that
unbelievable.
You know, and you're getting sent down for it. You know, and again, you know, the commentators all made the same point. Anywhere else on the pitch by any other player, you're getting your marching orders.
Yep.
But the keeper got away with it.
Oh, he took him out completely, didn't he? I mean, he was nowhere near the ball. I mean, I think Liverpool was slightly fortunate, or Brighton perhaps was slightly fortunate that the ball ended up in the back of the net, because obviously Liverpool profited from that instead. But it was a shock. Did you see that, Nick? Did you see it on Match of the Day last night? I know you say you don't watch much football, but have a look if you get the chance. It was almost comical the way he took him out. Was it Diaz, Pinky?
It was, yeah.
It was Diaz, wasn't it, who got taken out? Yeah. But I'm just going to go back to a few of you. Well, let's actually we'll stick with the game because we're bang on the cusp of half time. 4 minutes were added on at the end of the game. We're now in just about to enter the 6th minute added on. Villa on the attack. I'd imagine the referee's going to wait for the ball to go out before he blows his whistle. No, he's still carrying on. Villa have got the ball. It's going to go out for a West Ham throw, and surely that's going to be it. We've played 50 minutes and 5 seconds now in this first half. Still 0-0. And that is that it? Is he blown? No, West Ham are going to get the throw on. Still playing on. 5 minutes and 15 seconds of added on time. Well, Villa have had 4 players down. I think Louise Chambers, who else went down there? Matty Cash went down for a bit. We saw Dina replaced with a hamstring. So they've had a few injuries to contend with, but we're still playing on. We're now 5.5 minutes over time. Manny Lanzini with the ball, plays it out to the left. West Ham are going to get the opportunity to have one more attack by the looks of it. The referee's still not looking at his watch. Declan Rice has got the ball on the halfway line, burst between 2 Villa players, plays it wide. That's a bit of a lazy pass, but the Hammers have got it. And I'm not quite sure why. Well, Michail Antonio's been penalised, and he's absolutely furious. He's banging the ground in frustration. And, I've got to say, I've got some sympathy with him there. Declan Rice played the ball to him. It was a bit loose. Antonio sort of stretched for the ball. He's won the ball and been given as a free kick against him. It's Matty Cash has gone down in a heap, but it was more Cash's fault for the connecting with Antonio rather than the other way around. But we're still playing anyway. 6.5 minutes of additional time played at the end of this first half. I know we haven't.
While they were still treating Mr. Boot in the face bloke on the floor, and it was a couple of minutes before they'd sorted that out. So,
okay, that's why. My apologies, I missed that. But that is it. That is half time. 6 minutes and 25 seconds.
West Ham's stuff, I suppose. Really, you got to look into the curse of the curse of being a record signing.
Well, yep.
Savio, Ashton, Carroll, Anderson, Haller. How many times have our record signings actually properly worked out or gone on to have a successful career with us? Like in recent years, I know we got Phil Parks and from back in the 80s where the signings worked out, but in the more modern era of the game, have we had a record signing that has gone on to a long and illustrious career with us?
I guess the simple answer to that is no, isn't it? I mean, we'd need to see a list, I suppose, to see exactly who that was. But
that's a great point, Nick. I'd never ever thought of that. I mean, that's a run of bad luck that you wouldn't wish on anyone, isn't it?
Yeah. And
here we go. West Ham record arrivals transfer market. Come on, page load. Hella Zuma is it's done in. He's a third expensive but he don't count, does he? Really? I'm having a look. Wasn't Andre Ayew? Wasn't he a record signing as well at one point for 21 and a bit million? Fornals as well, maybe. It doesn't say in. Filtered by all season. No, it doesn't actually say.
I would have to go into the KUMB database, which I'm going to do actually, and while you're looking through those and just see if I can find any more. But this one goes back to the year 2000, I think. Our players. But anyway, while Nick's just having a quick look through there, quick recap of the first half. West Ham United 0, Aston Villa 0. We've struggled to get a stream at times, Pinky. We probably haven't seen as much of the game as we would have liked, but not really many standout moments from what we've seen.
I've not seen as little of a game since the 6'10" bloke came and stood in front of me when I was 12 years old at Upton Park. Honestly, I can't have seen more than 3 minutes of that first half. I don't think there's much to report. Still 0-0, I believe.
Indeed.
And, it's what you'd expect from Aston Villa in their current guise. They're going to run around a lot. They're going to try and compete because that's what their manager will demand. And something you like about Steven Gerrard, I think he's probably looking a better managerial bet than Frank Lampard at this point in time. And let's hope that Frank Lampard's Everton do feature in the Championship in the near future.
Yes.
And we talk about changing Ashley Young's name by deed poll to Ashley been around a while. I absolutely insist that should they get relegated, Everton Football Club be referred to only as Frank Lampard's Everton henceforth. Okay, you've got to own these things, Frank. You've got to own them, and But no, I mean, Villa there, 0-0. Yeah. What would we expect? We've been in Europe midweek. You know, we'll trot out the reasons for being tired and blah, 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 and you kind of get that. But we've just run out of bodies.
Mm. Yeah,
Simple.
and it's showing, isn't it? It is showing today. Very much so. Very much so. Nick, any thoughts on what we've seen in the first half? Did anything stood out for you, really?
Really? I didn't watch much, too busy.
But not a lot happened, really, to be fair. I mean, most of the half was spent watching Villa players writhe around on the floor in either genuine or mock agony.
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? Wasn't great.
No, not really.
Watching them fall over. I'm going through this list. It's quite an interesting list, really. Who we got? Craig Bellamy. There's one. He was a record signing. Got injured. Played himself back into form and we sold him. Kieran Dyer.
We made a profit on Bellamy, didn't we? I think we sold him for, hang on, here we go. We bought him for $7.5 million from Liverpool. And we sold him for 14 million to Man City. So there you go.
No, obviously, transfer market have obviously got the wrong values because they've got him here at something ridiculous like 12 million. Obviously, Aston, he got broke pretty soon, really. Arnautovic was a record signing.
I don't think he was. I'm just looking at that. You know, you mentioned Andre Ayew. Ayew come in for 20.5 million in August 2016, and Arnautovic was 20 million the following summer. So I think Ayew was £500,000 more expensive. Okay. Of course, these are all figures that probably aren't entirely accurate, but these are the best guess figures given, based on the information that we had at the particular time. All these figures were added to the KUMB database when they signed. So, these are our figures and not necessarily what equates to transfer market or other clubs like that. Arnautovic was up there. Like, do you know what strikes me looking at this list is how few signings we've made. What have we got? Over the 20 million mark. So Arnautovic was 20. So so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've only ever signed 8 players that have cost more than £20 million in the club's history.
It's got 9.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll go through who I've got and you tell me who I'm missing. So I've got Ayew at 20.5 million, Issa Diop at 22, Pablo Fornals at 24, Sai Benrahma at 25, Vlasic at 25.75, Kurt Zouma at 29.8 million, Felipe Anderson at 34 million, and Sebastian Haller at 40.5. Who am I missing?
Benrahma.
Who?
Benrahma.
No, I said Benrahma. 25 million, yeah. Hang on, let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 8. Ayew, Diop, Fornals,
Anderson, Zouma, Vlasic, Fornals, Diop, Ayew, Benrahma, Arnautovic.
Oh, see, I've got Arnautovic at 20 million, so that would be the 9th.
Yes, it says on here 20.07 million apparently.
Okay, so but it's quite shocking, that, isn't it? When you look at 20 million, is just standard money these days, isn't it, Pinky, for for an average centre half or aspiring midfielder?
Yeah, but that brings us back to, why we've been skint forever, because we've not invested in the right type of player, the right profile, who you can then sell at a profit. With by virtue of the fact that we haven't had any money, always had to go for players at the tail end of their careers. You'll get a season or two out of, but then afterwards you've got nothing. Yeah, and I think teams that win the Premier League, I think the average age is something like 27.9 years of age.
Yeah, something
like that, and it's a very similar age profile across the big 5 leagues in Europe. So people gather these data sets for good reason. Yeah, because there's a reason where you'll get so much value out of a player to a point, then you sell them, reinvest the money, and you gradually get your squad where you've got a nicely balanced squad in terms of positions, in terms of age profile, and you say, now we can go and win something. Yeah. Whereas for us, what have we done in the last couple of years? We've managed to get the energy in the team where we need it, which is Rice, Fornals, to a certain extent, Souček. We don't mind having some lumbering ancient centre-backs because you don't need them to sprint around quite so much. And it's why the Craig Dawson signing. Craig Dawson for 3.5 or Harry Maguire for 75. One chairman looks very clever. One looks completely stupid. Yeah. And you look at it and say, yeah, that's 70 million pounds Manchester United have essentially wasted. So when we start chucking around numbers like 20 million pound, and we've only signed 10 players of 20 million pound, say it slowly. Say it slowly. Tell you what, in units of one, count it, and I'll come back in a fortnight and see how far you've got. Okay. It's a lot of money. So for me, I'm not so perturbed about the fact we haven't signed loads of players for big fees. Yeah. Because I do expect the chairman to go and get good value for whoever we sign, because that's just good housekeeping. Yeah. But you've also got to have the certainty that when there's a player who you want, who the manager has said, he's my number one pick, let's not muck around here, let's go and get him, then you have to be able to go and do that and say, right, forget all the other rules, £50 million cash on the table, do the deal today. It's about that balance. It's about driving a hard bargain when you need to, but also being brave enough that when the manager says, I want and must have, get the deal done. And for us, I don't see enough of that. I thought we saw a bit of it in the Pardew era, if I'm being honest, and it paid off. Dean Ashton, talk about an injury that will haunt this club forever. For the money we paid for Dean Ashton.
What was that, 6 million, wasn't it? I think, if I remember rightly, something like 6 million. It wasn't. It
was near 9 from memory, Graham. But the bottom line is, he was pretty much the finished article when we got him.
Yep.
He was just getting to that age where he'd done his apprenticeship, so to speak. He'd done his hard yards of learning the game, and he was now at the point where, do you know what? I can lead the line. I can be the number one striker at pretty much any club I go to. West Ham got him, and we, what do we get? 30 games out of him before he does himself. And how different our club could look today if he had played, say, 300 games for West Ham. Because for my money, was he as good as Alan Shearer? We'll never know.
He could have been. Certainly could have been. I mean, what was he, 25, 26 when he had to hang his boots up, wasn't he? He's incredibly young for a player.
And I've said it on here many times, and I'll say it again. Freddie Sears' debut goal. Sears on debut. Run the YouTube tape. See what Dean Ashton does to create the space for Sears. Okay? And I'm not joking. I've only seen one striker give such a good example of drawing defenders away to create the space like that. There's a lad that played for Chelsea, Italian lad, or Argentina, Crespo.
Oh no, Crespo, yeah.
Crespo. I saw do it for Chelsea at our place. Yeah. He came
Did he get injured at our place? Was that Crespo who got injured?
Crespo, on this particular day, Graham, we were beating Chelsea. We were, I think, a goal up, something like that, with about a quarter of an hour to go. Crespo comes on, drags our defenders left and right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard steams up the middle, bangs in 2 goals. Yeah. To win the game for Chelsea. And Crespo, all he did was kept moving and dragging defenders all over the place.
Yeah.
And if you look at it now, that's what Dean Ashton could have done for us and did do for us, certainly for Sears' goal. It's what Shearer was superb at, as well as finishing.
Yeah.
But you look at it now, what does Antonio not do? He doesn't pull the defenders out wide with him. They let him go. Yeah. And that's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah, I think also tactically it's slightly different as well, isn't it? I mean, you're talking about with Sears, especially at Ashton, they were playing up front together, and I guess Antonio,
yeah,
we see him pull out to the left quite a bit, but he doesn't have that luxury of having a strike partner who's making those runs into the gap behind him. Yeah. Teams don't play that way anymore, do they? It's as simple as that.
Not like the good old days.
Yes, those were the days. Those were the days. But a huge miss, no question. Dean Ashton, I think if you're looking, you go back at the club, look at the club's history. He's the one. What if, you look at the players we signed thereafter. Bellamy, of course, Nick mentioned Bellamy was a great player. I really enjoyed Craig Bellamy at West Ham. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was a perfect fit for the club. But we've had some terrible issues up front. I mean, there's that famous stat, isn't there, that during the current administration, we've bought something like 100 strikers or whatever it is, or whatever the number is anyway, and the vast majority of them have been a huge failure. Just having a quick look at the live chat to see who else people are throwing up with suggestions. There's one that many of you might have forgot about. James Rutherford saying that Don Hutchison also falls into that group, which he very much does. Of course, he arrived at the club as he was Sunderland's Player of the Year, wasn't he, the season before we bought him. Joined us again. This is from memory, so I may be wrong. I think it was about 4.5 million we paid for Hutchison to bring him down. And how long was it, Pinky, before he done his cruciate? Something ridiculous like that, wasn't it? And he was out for a year, and that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it keeps coming back to this one. It's why chairmen are reluctant to spend because the supporters are always there going, we must, and the chairman's going, yeah, but I've only got this much money, and when I've spent it, if the player gets injured, you'll say we must have another one. Yeah, so I can't win, and you can see why club chairmen, unless they are bankrolled by, say, a Russian gangster, a sovereign wealth fund from a state that executed 81 people yesterday, just 81. Okay, and here's an idea: West Ham United. Yeah, deduct from Newcastle United's allocation the next time they play at our ground 81 tickets. Have a block of 81 seats that are empty, just to make a little protest, because here we are, the Premier League not learning yet again. Yeah, they've known the Russians' money was dirty. They knew, we all knew. Okay. And the reason they've had to say yes to the Saudis is because, well, the Russian money's dirty. So is our money not? All we've done at that stage is chop up the odd journalist. Yeah, and no one's going to complain about that, are they? Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah, but the Premier League's got a real problem now.
Yep.
Because they've just allowed the Saudis in. Yeah, dare I mention it? I'm still not completely satisfied that our new investor is Purcell White, shall we say? Half in jest, I'd quite like the club to issue a statement categorically reassuring supporters that the source of our recent investment comes from clean sources. Yeah,
he's strongly linked with Gazprom, isn't he? I believe, which or has been in the past.
Yeah, he does business with them. He does business. So his energy company controls, I think, the pipe through which the gas comes to Europe, and 40% of that energy company's profits derive from that contract.
Right.
So the Sunday Times wrote a piece last week saying, look, maybe put him on a bit of a watch list, not from a ethical perspective, but just from a financial perspective, that he could be actually the boss of a company that's about to significantly reduce in terms of profitability. But I think I'd like all Premier League clubs now to be able to issue almost like a financial clean bill of health from an ethics perspective to say, do you know what? Every penny that comes to this club is from an honest source.
Well, I saw the argument, without wishing to go to the second half is underway, by the way. We're 3 minutes in and Aston Villa have a free kick about 35 yards from goal. Declan Rice just committed a foul. I saw somebody make the argument during a conversation about this, talking about the state-sponsored executions, which I believe were, the Saudis claim were mostly terrorists, weren't they? Al-Qaeda members or something. Someone made the point that America, who of course have got healthy stakes in one or two major Premier League clubs, also have a bit of a record for state-sponsored murder. I mean, of course, executions are still taking place in the States. And someone was saying, well, if you're going to accuse the Saudis of, or the Saudi state of killing its own citizens, then you'd have to include America in that as well. But this is the problem that we, as Pinky rightly says, the Premier League has created this huge problem for itself with its inability to test owners properly and allow, and there's talk of Saudi coming in for Chelsea as well, isn't there now? I was reading this morning, but it's a mess, but it is one of the Premier League's own creation. Nick, good to have you back anyway. Matty Jarvis, there's one we forgot.
Never quite hit the heights, though, did he?
12 million, record signing at the time.
Yeah. 12 million at the time. But no, he was, as Raj used to say, that thumbs up that he used to do constantly just got so annoying because he balls up a ball and he never quite hit the heights that we had expected of him, did he? He was good for Wolves and then he signs for West Ham and I think, what did he score? 2 goals, wasn't it? Or something?
Was it really that? I don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Pinky, Matty Jarvis, another one for you?
Raz gave the best description ever of a Matt Jarvis performance ever that I've ever read on KUMB.com. Yeah. I cannot repeat it on air because there could be, youngsters watching this. Yeah. but I had tears of laughter rolling down my face as he described Matt Jarvis's aggression levels. Yeah. That clearly were non-existent, and basically the verdict was, like he wouldn't upset anybody, he'd never get angry at anyone, and all the rest of it. Would show no aggression, and ultimately that was his undoing. Yeah, complete waste of money, and again with the usual caveats, these are all top-class professional footballers that people who get paid a lot of money to pass judgment on. I've all said, they're worth it, where they just go spectacularly wrong, because Matt Jarvis was a good player for a different club.
He was. Listen, talking of things going spectacularly wrong, Michail Antonio is currently down, clutching his right hamstring. And Andrei Yarmolenko has been asked to warm up on the bench. Now, whether or not it's serious, Antonio doesn't look happy and it looks like he's going to be brought off. He's pointing to his knee to say, my inference from that is that he's saying the challenge came in from his knee. And so it wasn't, as if he'd pulled it during a sprint, which I guess is something to take comfort from, but he's off. Antonio is off. And this is going from bad to worse. So, no Boeing, no Vlasic, no Soufal, and now no Antonio potentially for Thursday night's game against Sevilla. But Yarmolenko's on the pitch, Nick, getting a really good reception from West Ham fans. But what do you make of that?
Is it wrong to laugh? Because you knew it was going to happen eventually. But it's all right, though, because we can bring on our substitute.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
No,
didn't see this coming.
No.
That's. Back on the pitch. I'm catching up on the match thread because it's ahead of my stream, which is about 3 days behind now. As Morocco Vol just said, it's going well, isn't it?
I mean, this is desperate. I mean, we know it. We've feared it happening all season, but if that is a hamstring, another hamstring, you know, I mean, the timing itself, it couldn't be any worse, could it?
To be fair, I mean, apart from the consolation goal against Southampton, he ain't really done much, has he? Ockerflex, come on, mate, stand up now. It looks like your chance may come because we've got no one else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Pinky, Antonio off, hamstring injury. Who'd have thunk it?
I don't need his problems. This is the third computer I've tried today that's just died on me. Okay? you know, don't give me Antonio's bloody hamstrings to worry about as well.
But we've got the evergreen Yarmolenko on anyway, you know, who's not played for a month. So, you know, should be fresh, I suppose.
Yeah, and fully focused.
Bombing down the wing, can you really?
Nothing going on in his world that distracts him, is there?
No.
I mean, it keeps coming back to the same thing time and time and time again. It's money, it's money, it's money. And, you know, we've got a new investor who could find £170 million to make David Gold and David Sullivan even richer by buying loads of new shares in West Ham United Football Club. But we couldn't find the money to get the manager, the players he wanted in January.
Do you want some more good news?
Go on.
Aaron Cresswell's down now on his back. Looks like his hamstring might have popped as well.
Well, actually, 2 more, I'll get a game Thursday. So things are looking up.
Let's have a look now. Cresswell, he's going to be replaced. Fredericks is coming on, so Cresswell is going to come off. You know, joking aside, Nick, this is desperate now.
Yeah, it is.
So predictable. That's the thing. All right, maybe not in one game, but Christ, it was so predictable. It was going to happen. But, you know, stranger things have happened. Hands have now... How many times have we seen it? Somebody come in or having to play in a position they're not used to. I remember some Scottish midfielder a long time ago had to go up front because of our striker getting injured. Who was it? Paul Goddard got injured, didn't he?
He did.
And we had to stick a young Scottish midfielder up front. And look what happened there.
Oh, Villa have hit the post. Villa have just hit the post. Sorry, Nick, for butting in there, but immediately after Cresswell walks off to the side, the corner's come out. It's a low centre. We didn't deal with it very well, and it's actually Fabianski's made a really, really good save. It's Ings who kind of scuffs his shot, but Fabianski at full stretch manages to get a fingertip on it and just push it onto the post, and it's a fortuitous rebound straight back into his hands. But fantastic stuff from Fabianski. He's kept West Ham 10-man West Ham at present in the game there. Sorry, Nick.
I forgot what was there now. I'm too busy chuckling in my twisted little mind of how predictable this all is. Yeah, we're going to rue those chances, I think, from Thursday. We could have wrapped that game up, but now it's going to be another up front. And oh well, it's been a good season.
Well, Cresswell is off. He did try and stay on. It looked like I'm not quite sure if he's still on the pitch or not, but he's reluctantly decided that he can't continue, and Ryan Fredericks replaces him. Now I'm just trying to see if Fredericks is going to go to the left back. No, it looks like Johnson has switched sides to come over to the left, and Fredericks will take the right back spot. But we're just we're now I think we have now officially, Pinky, run out of players. We were talking about, putting a settled team out. I'm not sure we can even put a team out now on Thursday night if those two are injured as well.
Yeah, and this is where it gets interesting, because the club, in its infinite wisdom, before we knew who we were going to be playing in this round of the Europa League, marketed the tickets, made sure we all bought them well in advance, because we wanted to make sure it was a full house. Okay, because had Sheriff from Moldova gone through, we could have drawn them at home, and people said, "No, I'm not spending, in my case, £199 for a match seat." Yeah, you didn't mishear me. £199 for one game of football against an opposition who we didn't know who was going to be at the time. Okay, but we bought the tickets in good faith because it might be someone decent.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out it is someone decent. It's Seville. So now the club, having sold 60,000 tickets for the game against Seville, and we're going to end up with 6 first-teamers, yeah, a couple of reserves, and a few out of the youth team.
Yep, it's looking that way.
What were we talking about? Great West Ham cock-ups or things like that? I mean,
Is this the greatest of them all? To get into such a great position and you blow it so spectacularly, or at least that's how it looks like it's going to go.
And you know what? Or it could. Hang on, let's spin it. It could be a night of absolute glory.
It certainly could.
You could get a couple of youngsters in the team, come in, bang in a few goals. Yeah.
Yep.
And so I've just been. What minute are you on your stream, Graham?
I'm on 59 minutes just coming up.
Oh, good. I'm only 3.5 minutes behind you. I think I've just seen them there hit the post.
Yeah. Same as me.
Fabianski tipping it onto the post.
Yeah, great save. I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, it was going in. Fabianski, and as he has done on so many occasions this season already, come to our rescue there.
Was it £7.5 million? Pellegrini signed him for.
Great signing.
Probably the standout signing for value for Pellegrini.
Yeah.
Because this season he's been generally pretty damned excellent, and now I'm just seeing Cresswell heading off there now. But yeah, I mean, Fabianski's been wonderful for us this season. Interesting, on Thursday night, the manager started with Areola.
Sorry.
Am I smiling, or am I about to lose another computer?
I'll carry on. I'll come to it. I'll tell you in just a moment when you're finished.
All right. Yeah, but basically, the manager, and again, trying to keep all the players in the squad happy, gives Areola the starting berth in the glamoured side away at Seville this week, which I thought was a brave decision because Fabianski's hanging up his international boots. He's at the fag end of his career, and he might have fancied, a run out in Seville. But the manager, I think, is still trying to encourage the keeper to stay. He's saying, no, you're the cup keeper, in you go. So, interesting.
West Ham should have scored. That was my little outburst there. It was a corner came in from the right-hand side. Zuma first went up, header on target, pushed out by the right hand of Martinez, but only as far as Craig Dawson, who had an open goal. Just couldn't crane his neck over the ball, and instead of heading the ball into the empty net, just saw his header fall agonisingly over the bar.
It tells you what I know, Graham, because Harry Maguire would have scored. He usually gets a couple of goals most weeks.
Close. I mean, but in fact, both sides coming really close to scoring within the space of 3 minutes of each other. Danny Ings, that shot that we were just talking about there, Nick, that was pushed onto the post by Fabianski. And as you're going to see, I would imagine in just a moment, Dawson, open goal, just couldn't quite get his head over the ball to find the net. And
maybe his stream hadn't just died, yes.
It's on about the 60 minutes, 16 seconds, I think it was, to give or take a second. Interestingly.
Oh, yeah, just seen it.
Seen it. So close.
Oh, how has he put that over? It would have been easier to score.
I just wondered if it came to him a little bit quickly, and he couldn't quite position his body correctly. We saw someone do that last week, didn't we?
He didn't even need
Dawson
to,
as well.
He didn't need to jump. He didn't need to jump, and that's what his feet just stayed where he was. That was a nodding and job done. Oh,
tough to take. Lucas Fabianski, interestingly, 7.2 million, Pinky, according to the KUMB records. The club's 24th most expensive signing in its history. So there you go. but definitely value for money. We've spoken a lot about players who haven't been value for money above him in that list, and he certainly was one that has proved to be. Benrahma looks for an effort, finds 4 nails. Good chance here for West Ham. It's another corner. West Ham putting on a bit of pressure now. We can safely say it's been pretty much all Villa in the second half, with West Ham losing a player or two, Antonio and Cresswell going off. My stream's decided to take a break as well. But West Ham have another corner. Last 5 minutes, it's been all claret and blue. And we've just seen now there's another Villa player on the floor come from that corner. I didn't quite see what happened because my stream kicked in again. He's taken. Shouldn't laugh. It's not really funny, but one of their players is down on the deck. I think it might be Coutinho. Is that Coutinho? Can't see his number quite, but he's rolling around in agony, which generally suggests he's not as hurt as he is. All right. Well, actually, no, the ball hasn't. So West Ham have had a corner. This is what's happened. West Ham have had a corner. Craig Dawson's gone in and he's put his arms up to shove a couple of players out of the way, and he's caught the Villa player in the face. Now, let's just have a look at it from this angle. It's the Villa number 16. He's not even looking at the player. The player's gone down. Clearly, he's not hurt. He's trying to get his Chambers, who's gone down in sort of mock agony, pretending to be hurt, though he's receiving a bit of treatment. I'm sure it's not as bad as he's making out. But no caution for the key, no caution for Dawson as things stand, unless VAR are checking something that I'm not aware of. But and rightly so. But some activity anyway at last. Not sure we're doing enough to win it at the moment, though, Nick. It's a tough game to watch.
It's extremely painful to watch, especially with that number 22 bloke. No comment on that one. It is food for thought, though. How long before Fredericks gets his obligatory injury?
Well, hopefully not for a couple of games at least, because it looks like we're going to need him quite extensively this week.
In all honesty.
Yeah. Well, what's going on here? There's a drop ball. No one seems to know what's going on. Benrahma's complaining to the referee. The referee's offered Benrahma the ball, and now Matty Cash is insisting that he should have it. And the referee's telling him to go away and dropping the ball at Benrahma's feet. And West Ham are going to keep possession. So, it's come back to the Hammer. 65 minutes gone anyway. Goalless still.
You know, Matt Cash, he needs a booking for fading injuries.
Yeah, is that the Dawson incident?
Yeah, why? Why are they allowed? Oh, Jesus. And this is the thing. Until this kind of rubbish is, I nearly said a swear word there. Instead of this rubbish is stamped out by the referees. Now, quite clearly there was nothing in it because the referee never blew. So why is the referee not getting his card out and saying, get up, you tart, get on with the game, have a yellow card for feigning injury? It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah. It's
either genuine or he's faking it. And with all this rubbish about bringing on the physio to check him out, stopping the game, stopping momentum, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, anyway, the game goes on. 66 minutes gone. West Ham look really good the last few minutes. Beginning to cause a few problems for Villa, but still waiting for that opening goal of the game. Pinky, how are you getting on with that stream?
Yeah, I'm on 62 minutes at the minute, and West Ham very much in the ascendancy at this point in time. But, we just cannot unlock this Villa defence.
No.
I'm at the stage now where Fornall's about to take a corner, I think. He's put the ball down. Now, who'll give me a price that beats the first defender? Anyone? Oh, it does, but easy headed out. It's fallen to Benrahma, who's on the edge of the D, and I can see him now. This is going to row Z. My stream has just stopped at this precise moment, and I can see from his body position, this is going at least 30 feet above the bar. Okay. I'm going to keep watching till he actually, till the little dots disappear and the tape runs again. But you're just looking at it now. He's leaning backwards. He's on the edge of the D. This is going miles over the bar. Come on, stream, do your stuff.
Well, we're in the.
This is almost like being on permanent VAR. You're not quite sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, we've not had much luck with our streams over the last couple of weeks, Nick, have we? Pinky, you're generally fortunate enough to be on the at the game. But we've had a few nights like this, haven't we, Nick, in recent weeks?
Well, when it's a televised game, it's good because I can get it up on Sky Go or on Virgin TV Go. But when it's not on the box, to be fair though, I've lost this stream once, and since it's been back on, it's been pretty good. I'm on the 66th minute at the moment. I think we got a member of our fan clubs just join the chat on YouTube.
Okay.
Oh no, message is now retracted. He's disappeared.
Oh, okay. Who was that? Just out of interest.
By the name of Jarmy. The three fossils, apparently we are.
Oh, that's very nice of him to say so.
More hair on a monk's head.
Excellent. Not heard that one before, have we? Well done, Jarmy. Thanks for the originality. I'm sure Pinky might disagree, you know. But anyway, West Ham have a throw-in down on the left-hand side near the touchline. 68.5 minutes gone. Villa are about to make another substitution. Who's going to be coming off? It's Danny Ings, I think, who's going to be coming off here, which is interesting. It is Danny Ings coming off. And he is going to be replaced by Bailey. Yeah, number 31, Bailey's coming on. Disappointing afternoon for Ings. Of course, went closest to scoring for Villa when he had that shot that Fabianski pushed onto the post around about 10 minutes ago, but pretty ineffective otherwise. 21 minutes to go. West Ham still 0, Villa 0. We're not scoring goals very much lately, gentlemen, are we? I'm looking back at our just looking back at the record, and you take Kidderminster out of the equation, and the only team we've managed to score. Hang on, here's Yarmolenko. Yarmolenko!
If anyone deserves a goal, if anyone, I'm so pleased to get a goal.
Yes,
it's Yarmolenko. What a
there it is, Yarmolenko. He's come back, and 70th minute is West Ham United, and he's actually, I think he's in tears. I think these are, yeah. Oh man, these are pictures that are going to be taking the headlines on the back pages tomorrow. I think if this score stays the same, Andrei Yarmolenko has put West Ham ahead here at the London Olympic Stadium, and the emotion has got to him a little bit. It's fair to say there, and he's tearful, and that's an absolutely beautiful moment.
He's tearful.
Declan Rice.
Imagine how I am at the prospect of Frederick starting on Thursday night. I'm bawling the eyes out.
I'll take you through the goal, and it's a typical Yarmolenko finish. He's I'm sorry, I'm actually quite moved by that as well. The ball was played from the across from Dawson to the left hand side to Ben Rama. Ben Rama cuts inside, plays a little ball inside the box to Yarmolenko, who's turned on a sixpence, and he's hit that with the outside of his left foot. Into the and he's found the far corner of the net. Martinez, no chance. It's a brilliant finish. It's an absolutely brilliant finish from Yarmolenko, who's rolling back the years there to put West Ham in front. But what an impact he's made. Nick, I think you called it, didn't you? I think you said this could be the game that Yarmolenko might just make the difference. He has.
There we go. Oh yes, just seen it. Just seen it. Beautiful. Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of getting a little bit, but yeah, I can see why. I can see why, yes.
Yeah, special moment.
Oh, don't worry, it's all right, it's fine.
Lovely, a fantastic moment to see. What a finish, though, Nick, from Yarmo.
Oh, it was beautiful. Absolutely top draw. Top draw. Couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke.
And I think we've got to give credit. I mean, you know, we criticise him enough on this stream, and well, everyone has, to be fair. It's not just us. Side Ben Rama picked up the ball on the left hand side. Great ball played, long diagonal played by Craig Dawson, who of course missed that chance a few moments before. Who found Ben Rama, who cut inside, played it short to Yarmolenko. So credit to our Algerian superstar there, Pinky. Can we refer to him like that? I suppose. Why not? Have you seen the goal yet? Has it come up?
No, I haven't. And you can credit him as much as you like. I've already sold him in the summer. Yeah, so it ain't happening. I mean, what was the game when I was caning Yarmolenko and he scored that night as well? Yeah,
I can't remember.
I caned him for about 20 minutes and then he popped up with a winner. You know, so who knows? Who knows? But I've yet to see the goal here. But we need it. We need it, and
we do.
You know, it's the manager must be looking at this now, worried sick about Thursday, and he's probably thinking, please don't let. Oh, get in, Yarmo, get in. I mean, right, first up, should have used his right peg, not his left. Let's have it right, shall we?
What's the
he's pulled
reaction?
the
Just
trigger.
watch his reaction. Just to keep an eye on it for a second or two. It's quite something else.
Yeah, what he's doing, I should have used my right. That's what he's doing. He's sitting there now going, that Pinky Palermo, yeah,
He
on
knows.
KUMB will be caning me for using the wrong foot, yeah. So, but maybe his argument would be the quick strike with his left peg is what actually created the opportunity. You know, it's an obvious shot to pull with your right, but the quick flick with the left peg, you know, maybe that's what. Well done, Yarmo. Good for you, young man.
Looks like our friend Jarmy is back on the stream, Nick, and he's not doing himself much credit, to be fair. I mean, he's just posted Stevie G could start in midfield for West Ham right now. Obviously oblivious to the fact that the greatest defensive midfielder in the world is currently performing that role. But yeah, we'll let you stay on, Jarmy. You carry on, son. You know, you fill your boots down there if it makes you happy. If you'd rather watch a West Ham stream than one of your own. But it is West Ham United 1, Aston Villa 0, 74 minutes gone. Andre Yarmolenko making the difference in the 70th minute, and didn't it mean a lot to him?
Yeah, it's a
lovely moment.
It's a great finish.
Yeah.
You know, and plays for him. And the Ukrainian flag goes up straight away in the stands behind him. So, very nice indeed for him and all that. But it's tough times for him, I'm sure, at the minute, because obviously he had to go and fetch his wife and kids from the Polish border, didn't he, last week or something like that?
Yeah.
Strange. We can send the private jet to get Antonio back from Jamaica, but we can't send it to Poland to pick up Yarmo's kids.
Yeah.
Error of judgment there, if that's what's gone on.
Hobo Chamber says, just seen it myself. Lovely stuff. Bit of grit in my eye too. I suspect there'll be a fair few West Ham supporters at the stadium who feel the same way, having watched that reaction by Andre Yarmolenko to scoring the goal. Villa have just had an effort. Watkins, it's no trouble for West Ham. It's still West Ham 1, Villa 0. We're in the final 15 minutes of the game. Of course, West Ham have already lost Michael Antonio and Aaron Cresswell to injury. Hadn't been a good afternoon until then, but delighted to see that. But Villa have a corner. Anyway, it could be a moment of danger. We'll just stick with this for a second. We're in the 76th minute, as I say. West Ham leading by that Yarmolenko goal on the 70th minute. Great finish with the outside of his boot. The ball comes in. It's dangerous delivery, and Fabianski gets up. West Ham managed to clear the danger. Oh, tight game though. I was just going to say, actually, chaps, before that goal, that I'm looking back, and barring Leicester and of course you've got to take Kidderminster out of the equation, I think, really. But Leicester are the only Premier League team we've managed to score more than once against since going back to the middle of January. Didn't score against Liverpool, won against Southampton, won against Wolves, won against Newcastle, won against Watford, didn't score against Man United. It's not a new phenomenon, Pinky, is it? This lack of goals. It hasn't just happened. It's something that's been a problem since sort of, even those games looking back at, post January. Palace, we did well. That scored 3 there, 4 at Watford, 2 against Leeds, 2 against Norwich. But the teams in the higher areas of the league, we've certainly struggled against since Christmas.
Yeah, but there's a tendency always to lead to the conclusion that's because we haven't got a second striker.
Yeah,
the manager doesn't have an option. But is that the position? Is that the reason we're not scoring? And I think it was Wilco made the point very well indeed on one of the either podcasts or one of the bits of analysis the young guns do.
Yep.
You defend as a team and you attack as a team, and by that, we mean as a whole unit. And it isn't just about building your attacks. It isn't just about the guy that puts the ball in the net. It's everything that leads up to it. And we've looked considerably less of an attacking threat since Ogbonna's been injured, frankly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because that's affected who the manager is picking in which channel at centre back. That then impacts on how we play immediately in front of those players, and then that impacts who we play in front of those midfielders, and how we play. And so, the root cause, if you're looking at this, is air crash investigation. You might not say it's a lack of an Antonio. You might say it's because actually our best centre back got injured early in the season. Yeah. And there's little things like that make the difference. And Antonio, again, the analysis that the young lads do, the way that they're described, where he's deployed to cut out the opposition's passing from the back to stop the teams passing the ball through the middle, deliberately force the ball wide to the flanks. Now, if we all sat there with a tape and watched it in granular detail, we'd all kind of figure that out eventually. Yeah. When you're there in the cut and thrust of a game, you tend not to think like that. It's just, well, he's up there on his own again. He could do some help, or he's played every minute since God was a boy. Yeah. But I'm not actually convinced, even if we had another striker, David Moyes would be picking him.
No.
That's kind of my point there. I'm not convinced that, if we had Benzema on the bench, Moyes is sticking him
on. Just to catch up and go. Sorry, quickly, Pinky, coming in. Wendy is on for Louise, changed for Villa. Declan Rice just conceded a free kick, a very, very dangerous position, just a couple of yards outside the penalty area. But Coutinho's effort was deflected over, and the resulting corner led to a header from Mings, which was safely over the bar. We're in the just about to enter the final 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's the way he sets it up, isn't it? It's the way that Moisey sets his team up.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Yarmolenko's in the box here, looking to play it across. He's had a shot into the side netting, unfortunately, but looks like Yarmo's. Sorry?
Whose box?
Sorry, Yarmolenko in their box. In Villa's box. Yeah, cuts on the outside. Just a very, very acute angle. Tries to fire a cross goal, but gets his angles wrong and just shoots straight into the side netting. And Villa have the ball again. We are into the final 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's the way, going back to what you're saying, it's the way that Moyes sets it up, isn't it? But we certainly haven't been, scoring anywhere near as many goals as we did in the opening half of the season. I think you make a very valid point about Ogbonna. You talk about a team defending as a unit and attacking as a unit. The quicker you can retrieve the ball, the quicker you can give the ball to the forward players to create opportunities. So, yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a very valid point to say that without Ogbonna, it's been other players. Soufal as well. It hasn't been at his best in recent weeks, but we know what a force he can be in an attacking sense.
Yeah.
When he's playing at his best. Very, very good on the right flank. I think that's Wendy's just had a shot for Villa.
Didn't score against Liverpool. We had 3 gilt-edged opportunities.
Yeah.
We didn't score against Seville. Vlasic.
Oh, what a chance that was, eh? What a chance that was.
And, you talk about goals changing games. Had we scored at that moment, we may never have heard the chanting of the Seville fans. Seriously.
No, you're right. What was that, 4 minutes in?
Yeah.
We barely sat down. Well, we didn't sit down, but you get what I'm saying.
3,000 West Ham going, all right,
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Nick, final in the final 8.5 minutes on my stream. Anyway, I'm probably a bit behind live, and I think you're a little bit behind me. But we're doing okay. We're holding on in there at the moment. It's going all right. Would we be happy with this? A 1-0 win?
3 points. Always happy with 3 points. It's all that matters to me. Thank you. At this business end of the season, when you've got Wolves breathing down our neck as well. We've scored again, haven't we? We've scored again. Happy days.
Pablo Fornals!
Yes,
Senor! 2-0. West Ham United 2. Aston Villa 0. It all started when Declan Rice nicked the ball inside our own half. Sold a dummy to another player. Played it out on the left to... it's the man again, Said Ben Rama. It's another assist. Cuts inside. He puts it on a sixpence. puts it on the penalty spot for Pablo Fornals, who's coming in, and Fornals just side foots the ball into the corner of the goal. West Ham United 2, Aston Villa 0, and that, you would assume, Pinky, is game over. Sorry, you got a mouthful of food. I'll go to Nick. DL, you would assume that is game over.
Well, yeah, never say never. It's not over till the fat lady sings or whatever. Yeah, it should be game over, shouldn't it? But it's West Ham, so wait till the final whistle. But it's mental, isn't it? Enforced changes, and tell you what, we have to change things around a little. And there we go. How many times have we seen it? When teams, managers get forced to make changes. And since those two changes, we've played brilliantly. We've been different compared to normal, not as predictable.
No.
And you've got the Ben Rama fan club coming out in the match thread now.
There we go. But I mean, you know, credit where it's due. That's 2 assists.
Credit where it's due.
He's been in the right place at the right time, and
he is.
Just goes to show in times of adversity, you know, players can.
It's why I haven't sold him for the summer.
Yeah,
of course, he's just funded another few quid on his transfer. A few quid on his transfer value in the summer.
It's a strange half of football, and this is the way it goes, isn't it? You know, we were kind of all crestfallen when we saw Antonio clutching the hamstring, and well, we still obviously it's going to have huge ramifications going forward, and then Cresswell, who is probably, you know, one of the next most important players in the squad. But 2 goals, 70 minutes Yarmolenko, 81 minutes Pablo Fornals, and it looks like West Ham are going to take all 3 points this afternoon, Pinky. I think I can come to you now. After he's taken a quick swig of the
boy, do we need them. Boy, do we need those points for all sorts of reasons, because 60,000 West Ham United supporters in our stadium this afternoon have watched a couple of key players limp off. And we're all looking at going, we're a goal down against Seville, we're losing key players, you know. But a win, a good, comfortable in the end 2-0 win at home to Aston Villa. But let's not forget, we've won 3 games on the bounce, yeah. Kind of stops the rot, kind of actually keeps us riding reasonably high in the Premier League, and just gives a bit of confidence that says, you know what, we got those goals when Antonio and Cresswell were off the pitch. Yeah. So, you know, they'll just turn up on Thursday night with a bit more get in, yeah, a little bit more, you know, Fornals, yeah. We weren't criticising you earlier, were we, Graham? You know, did I not say that he needed an extra 3 or 4 goals? Did I not say?
Well, there's the first. There's the first. So all we need is a hat trick on Thursday night, and it'll be back to back up to script.
Honestly, it's. If he gets a hat trick Thursday night, I'll go around and walk his dog for a week. You know, that's how happy I'll be. But yeah, you can't argue with that. It's a good goal. I mean, this is more like it. You know, we've picked the ball up deep in our own half. Yeah. You know, constantly surged forward, but basically we've carried the ball 40 odd yards. Yeah. And 2 passes later, the ball's in the net.
We've given credit to the goal scorer Fornals, and we've given credit to Said Ben Rama for moving the ball. And again, this is something we've been critical of him, right? He's not moving the ball quick enough, and twice he's done it and it's created goals. But what about, I mean, first of all, Declan Rice nips in, takes the ball away. If there's a better player at reading, you know, I've seen him compared to Bobby Moore for doing that this week, and I think it's very valid. The way he reads the pass and nips in and takes the ball away, it's so Moore-esque. But not just that, but what I really enjoyed about that goal was the drop of the shoulder, the shoulder dummy to the second Villa player, not the one he nicked the ball off, but the one after that before laying the ball out. Ben Rama's off, by the way. I'm assuming he's got a big round of applause from the fan base there. And your favourite, Pinky, Issa Diop, is on the pitch to just shore things up for the final few minutes.
Well, 2 words for you: betting scam. I mean, you know, with just a few minutes left, yeah. If some big money hasn't just gone down with a bookmaker in East London on a draw, yeah, I'll be very surprised. I mean, okay, listen, I'm harsh on certain players, yeah. This is one of them, but he's still relatively young. He's come on now, basically because the manager's looked around and probably doesn't recognise anyone else on the bench. And said, well, you know, I'll have Issa because I don't know who the other two lads' names are, kind of thing. 2-0 at home against Aston Villa.
Three wins in a row coming into today, don't forget. In good form.
Yeah. You know, very much the informed team in the Premier League. You know, this is a good result. We played Thursday night in Spain. It's Sunday lunchtime, and we're managing to put together a result. No one's pretending it's a classic. No one's saying we've passed and moved all afternoon and it's been, you know, the golden era of West Ham United. But they've done what they needed to do to get the points, and that's what good clubs do. Let's not kid ourselves. We've seen teams that are in the last 16 of the Europa League staring at the wrong end of the league table.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's always the big fear. Oh, we don't want to qualify. We won't have enough players. You know, it'll ruin our Premier League season, all that nonsense. Yeah, well, actually, you can compete in both, but you need a little bit of good fortune. Yeah, the occasional rub of the green. But this is an Aston Villa team that's been put together very expensively.
Yes, it is.
You know, they've had some investment at that football club. So well done to Moyes' boys today, and delighted for some of the lesser light, should we say, grabbing the headlines.
Very much so. Coutinho's just missed a real sitter. Well, maybe that's a little bit harsh. The ball played over the top, and he took it on the turn and only had Fabianski to beat, but Fabianski's made another good save. Fabianski's had a really, really good game today. Once again, hasn't had an awful lot to do, but well, no, this is dangerous. Coutinho's in here. Should have pulled the trigger, but Villa have scored. Villa have pulled one back. The clean sheet's gone. West Ham lost possession there. Gave away possession on the edge of the box. Coutinho surged into the box. Looked like he was going to shoot. Opted not to. Looked like a bad decision initially. Now let's just see who lost the ball here. All right. Johnson actually got a foot on the ball that was played down the line. It sort of fell to Issa Diop, who was beaten to the ball. Is it Diop or is it? It might be Zuma actually. Apologies. No, it's Zuma. My apologies to Issa. Coutinho looked like he was going to shoot, instead feigned the shot and pulled it inside for a teammate. I'm still not quite sure who it was. Ramsey. It's Ramsey who scored, and Ramsey's fired it into the corner. So we're in the 90. We're in added on time now. So there will be 6 minutes added on. So plenty of squeaky bum time ahead for West Ham. Villa going to have plenty of time to try and get a late equaliser here.
It's also
a bit unnecessary there.
Full time in one of the other games, sanction 1, execution 0.
Wonder who you could be referring to. That's not Norwich, I'm guessing.
I've just stolen that from Twitter, by the way.
Yarmolenko is sorry, Souček. My apologies. Souček has the ball right in the corner now and keeps it there, and West Ham have a throw, and there's going to be no hurry to take this. 6 minutes, Steve. 6 minutes added on. We're in the just coming into the second of those 6 minutes now. 2-1. West Ham opening the scoring on 70 minutes through Yarmolenko, adding a second through 4 nails in 81 minutes, and Ramsey pulling one back for Villa in the 89th or 90th minute to make it 2-1. West Ham, of course, already without Antonio and Crespo. Now, West Ham are trying to keep the ball down by the corner flag. We've conceded possession, and it's a Villa goal kick. The last time I can remember West Ham doing this, there was a game under Glenn Roeder back in the day at Upton Park where there was we were a goal ahead and there was about 8 or 9 minutes to go, and we tried to keep the ball in the corner flag from that point. It's one of the most comical things I've ever seen on a football pitch. If anyone remembers that game, drop us a note and let us know who it was. It would have been 21 years ago. Glenn Roeder team did it. We tried to keep the ball in the corner flag for about 7 or 8 minutes and did it reasonably successfully, I seem to recall. 4 minutes left to go. Villa are on the attack now. Ball swung in. Zuma's got a head up. Watkins has won it back. There's a Malay in the box and it's hooked clear by Declan Rice, but it's oh no, hang on now. West Ham got a chance to counter here. We got numbers forward. We have. Will Lanzini look to go forward? No, he's just held play up and Villa have got numbers back. 4 minutes left to go. Nick, if we were to throw this away now, this would be disastrous, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. I don't want us to throw it away. Please don't. I have got a horrible feeling, though. I said that when you said, are we home and dry? We're never home and dry, not until the whistle's gone. 40 odd years of West Ham show me that.
Well, Villa got the ball, 30 yards from goal. West Ham got everybody behind the ball now. It's Coutinho looking to work some magic. West Ham making sure he can't. The whistles are going from the crowd, but they're a little bit premature because there's still 3 minutes of added on time left to play. We're 93 minutes and 3 seconds gone. And, what's going on here? And West Ham have made a, oh dear. Craig Dawson's left the ball for Fabianski. Fabianski's no way can get it. But fortunately, Watkins wasn't able to profit, and West Ham managed to clear the ball. And Lenko took the ball wide, looking for Fornals, who's not going to reach it. And Villa maintain possession. It's all the way back with Martinez now. So 20 more valuable seconds wasted. But yeah, Hobo, 6 bleeding minutes, he says. My heart. Yes, we're all feeling that a bit right now, buddy, as West Ham looking to hang on. 3 points would, of course, send West Ham back above Arsenal to 5th in the Premier League. Just 2 points below Man United in 4th. Big game. This an awful lot hinges on this. And of course, I guess, Pinky, it's not just the 3 points, it's the whole morale boost this will give us going into Thursday night's game against Seville.
Absolutely. You know, it's been able to get a win when you haven't got your best 11 on the pitch, you know, because the manager might be having to say to the players, because the players know who the best 11 is. Yeah. And there'll be players that will get selected on Thursday night who aren't in that best 11 in the players' minds. But the manager's got to get the message across that as a team, it's good enough to win. We need 2 goals on Thursday night. So we need 2 goals. Yeah. And we've got 2 goals today. Yeah. So do it again on Thursday night. You know, and it really is that simple. If it was as straightforward as just saying, well, do you know what? If Seville have got their best team out and we haven't, well, they're going to win. Well, yeah, we'd predict every result. The reason we watch the games is you can't predict any result.
Yeah. Well, we've just seen I think this game is going to go long beyond 6 minutes now because there's a collision of heads. Yarmolenko is down clutching the top of his head. The Villa player, it's Buendia, the substitute, who's also on the floor. I didn't quite see the incident because I was listening to Pinky there, but both are down. Yarmolenko looks in some distress. Now let's see it again. It was a header clear from Kurt Zuma to the edge of the box. Yarmolenko's, actually, I think this is going to be a free kick to Aston Villa because it looks like Yarmolenko's coming from the side and bundled Buendia over. It looks like rather than taking damage to the head, it looks like Yarmolenko's taken a dig in the ribs where he's coming and hit the play. But yeah, it's going to be a free kick to Villa. Now, this is all we need. 15 seconds left as things stand. 95, 47, 48, 49, 50 on the clock. 6 minutes of added on time indicated by the official. Now, Villa will have a free kick. Pablo Fornals and Thomas Souček are furious. I'm not quite sure what they're furious at, but this is all set up for Philippe Coutinho to stick one in the top corner from this range. We're just seeing Martin Atkinson, the 4th official, chat with David Moyes. So the line has been drawn, what's that, 3 or 4 yards? No, it's a drop ball. No, he's actually given a drop ball, so it's not a free kick. So Villa are going to be given the ball. They've kept possession. So Declan Rice has blocked, and it's all come to an end. Now, that was all very strange. West Ham can break here. If we can counter quickly, we're away. The ball's played to Declan Rice, who's the most furthest forward player. He's left it for Lanzini. Lanzini's on the left of the penalty area. Plays it to Rice. Rice, I think, is going to just try and keep the ball here. Plays it off Young and wins a free kick a throw into West Ham. 96-49 on the clock. That should be enough now. That was a very strange incident. Not quite sure what was going on in the referee's mind there. But anyway, 7 minutes of added on time now played. 6 were indicated by the match official. West Ham in no hurry to take this. Villa are obviously quite agitated because we haven't taken it, but I would imagine that's going to be game over. Let's just stick with it for a second. Lanzini is with a throw-in. Plays it short to Yarmolenko. Yarmolenko loses possession, and it's going to be a goal kick to Aston Villa. We are 97 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock now. The whistles going up, as you would expect, around the Olympic Stadium. Is this going to be it? The ball's played up in the air. That is it. The final whistle was gone. The final whistle was gone at the London Olympic Stadium. It has finished. West Ham United 2, Aston Villa 1. Andrei Yarmolenko, who else, putting West Ham ahead in the 70th minute before Pablo Fornals made it 2-0 on 81 minutes. Aston Villa getting back into the game in the last minute of normal time. Ramsey side-footing home an effort from about 20 yards. But there's no doubt who the hero is today. Andrei Yarmolenko came off the bench to score West Ham's first. Was in tears after doing so. But it's a massive 3 points for West Ham, 3 points that lift them back above Arsenal in the Premier League to 5th place, just 2 points behind Manchester United. Coming to the guys for their initial post-match thoughts. Nick, I'll come to you first. West Ham 2, Villa 1.
Yes, indeed. I quite enjoy reading the match thread with all the arguing and the bitching over Ben Rama. Fan club one side, the not so big fans the other. It's really quite entertaining, really. So if you want to go and check that out, it's on the match thread now on kumb.com. It was a match of two halves, wasn't it? Or match of 3/3, let's say. A bit grim until Antonio and Cresswell went off in quick succession, and their replacements seemed to have been more than worthy. And especially Yarmolenko, what a moment for him! And it weren't even a scuff shot off his backside or anything. It was an absolutely superb bit of skill to put it beyond the keeper. It was in the script. Squeaky bum time at the end, but that's what supporting West Ham's about anyway. We've been there before. We've been 3-0 up with not 10 minutes, but you know what I mean. We've not long to go and ended up 3-3. So yes. Much needed 3 points. We're still in that hunt for 6th, which is what suits me. Not even concerned about Thursday now, to be honest, because it was 0-0 when our 2 injured players went off the pitch and we run out 2-0 winners. What do we know?
There you go. Exactly. Football's a funny old game, as someone once said. Pinky, West Ham United 2. Aston Villa 1, clung on a bit at the end, but done all the hard work in that final quarter of the game, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think the phrase, winning ugly. Sometimes you've got to do that, haven't you? You dig deep, you take your chances when they do actually occur, and you take the points. And never a classic game, never in a million years. But in the context of our season, when we just need to just keep it going, to have a player who I've personally written off more times than most people have written off cars, to come on, use his wrong foot to score with, and he'll never convince me otherwise, other than he'll say, yeah, but there's the goal, I scored. And he can say that to anyone that says you should have used your other foot. He did what he had to do. Great goal by Yarmolenko. Fornals as well. Terrific move. Great breakdown from the back. Good finishing again. And, against an Aston Villa team that have won 3 on the bounce, that's the key. Villa have turned up today full of confidence. Steven Gerrard's pre-match speech to his players would have been, look, they're tired. They've been in Europe in the week they lost. They've run out of players. They haven't even got a proper striker. All the rest of it, just grind them down and you'll get something, boys, It'll have been all of that. Every kind of devious tactic in the world, tugging a shirt, leaving a foot in late, anything to disrupt our rhythm, you name it, they've done it. And I've just seen that Watford have beaten Southampton, which is
huge,
makes things interesting down the bottom. But for us, just to go and get those 3 points in a European week, and that's the key here, in a European week, because we've now got 2 big games coming up. Obviously, we've got the second half of the Europa on Thursday, and then Tottenham away next Sunday. So the Premier League coming at you thick and fast, not many. So a defeat today would have been a bad result.
Yeah.
The win was a great result. And to be honest, no one cares about the performance because we won.
Yeah, that really was all that mattered today, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As we said during the stream, it's a huge confidence boost for the team ahead of that incredibly difficult looking Thursday night tie, especially so if we're without Michail Antonio and Aaron Cresswell, but we'll come on to that in a minute. Match stats for you, folks. Possession, West Ham 48% to Aston Villa's 52. West Ham 11 shots, 4 on target to Aston Villa's 13 shots, 7 on target. 5 corners for West Ham, 7 for Villa. West Ham committing 9 fouls, Villa 3. XG, West Ham expected goal stat, West Ham 1.51 to Aston Villa's 1.23. So even though Villa having more shots on target, West Ham obviously the better chances. According to the XG stat. And very quickly, some results from elsewhere in the Premier League this afternoon. Pinky's already touched on a very interesting one at St Mary's. Southampton 1, Watford 2. Chelsea 1, Newcastle 0, as Nick mentioned earlier in the game. Everton 0, Wolves 1. Another defeat for Frank Lampard's Everton. And all the while, Leeds beating Norwich 2-1. So Leeds and Watford down at the bottom of the pile, winning now. Let me just have a quick look and see how that affects the bottom of the table. Watford still not in the bottom 3, but it's Norwich bottom with 17 points, Burnley 21, Watford and Everton both now on 22 points. And that win for Leeds takes them to 26 points. And thereafter, it's Brentford on 30. It's beginning to look like it might be a 4-horse race at the bottom of the table for relegation. And very much looks like Norwich are gone, but possibly between Burnley, Watford and Everton for 2 of those last 3 spaces. We get time, we'll come and touch on that briefly at the end of the game. At the other end of the table, West Ham back up into 5th in the Premier League. We are now, it's an important game. If we'd have lost today, Nick, Wolves with that win would have gone above us this afternoon.
I was just about to mention Wolves. They're gradually closing that gap to they're only 4 points behind Man United. Yep. I mean, I still think 4th place is Arsenal's this season, without a shadow of a doubt. We're battling out for 5th, 6th and 7th. Sadly, you can't rule out Tottenham with their Tottenham playing again this week. Have they got another one of their games in hand, or are we their next game? Because they seem to have this pattern, don't they, of win, lose, win, lose.
They play at Brighton on Wednesday.
Right, so hopefully they win that then, and they continue on their pattern.
Yes, ahead of next weekend. That's a huge game, isn't it? And again, we'll come to that in just a bit. But let's have a quick look back at the highlights of this game, gentlemen. Before we do that, wasn't really many highlights, was there, in the first half? I mean, there was a couple of efforts from Ben Rama earlier on. Fornals had a shot that he pulled wide of the post when he was given the freedom of Stratford by Villa's defence. Watkins had an effort for Villa in 11 minutes, and then Souček had a header just wide from a Cresswell corner. That was about it for the first half. Not really a lot happening. And the first real effort of the second half fell to Aston Villa. It was an effort for Danny Ings, a shot that was on target, but Lucas Fabianski got down really well to tip it onto the post and save it. Zuma had a header saved by Martinez on the hour mark. And then Pinky, the opening goal of the... Are you awake? Are you still with us? I thought you'd gone there, buddy. So I was about to call 999. I wasn't sure what was happening. 70 minutes gone. Andrei Yarmolenko came on as a substitute for the injured Michail Antonio, and what a finish! What a great way to put West Ham ahead.
Yeah, I mean, let's cut through all the nonsense, about them being professionals and all the rest of it, and blah blah blah. Okay. He's a human being. He's got friends. He's got relatives, and his country is being shelled and bombed and attacked mercilessly by a vicious, aggressive dictator. Okay. How can you concentrate on your game in those circumstances? How are you barely sleeping at night in those circumstances? So to come on and do what he did, and this is a player who I have caned mercilessly for over a year now as not being good enough. when it mattered, when we needed him to do something, he's done it. And hats off to Yarmo. Good lad. Hello, Gordon.
Sorry, I've just put him on mute because of the background. Sorry, no. How you doing, buddy?
I was a bit emotional that all the way round today. What we one thing another. First game since my dad passed. First game since we heard of Chaz passed and all that as well. So and then Yarmolenko, who's sometimes you just think, well, football, eh?
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Yarmolenko thing was an incredibly emotional moment, wasn't it, for him? And what was it like inside the stadium? And we were all. I don't think we were. We were all tearing up a little bit here ourselves watching that. What was it like inside the ground?
I mean, obviously, I scarcely made it through bubbles. I'm afraid for obvious reasons, but I mean, just the applause that just carried on and on and on and on. You know, when he scored, it just, you look around, everyone's still clapping a minute later. You know, you know, as I say, as Martin, the announcer, that came out with the goal for West Ham and Ukraine.
Yeah, we obviously didn't hear that because we have our things, our volume turned down. Sure. But what did you make of the game as a whole? We didn't really sort of start to click until the last 20-25 minutes. Ironically, as Nick was saying a few moments ago, when we'd lost, two of our best players in Antonio and Cresswell to injury.
Yeah. It looked like Antonio maybe a hamstring again, but it was a tough watch. You could tell Villa were managed by Gerrard, can't you? I mean, every time the ball was slung into the box, somebody threw themselves to the floor holding their head. Whether or not they've been touched, it was the dark arts, I think, is the polite way of putting it. They were very well versed in it. And of course, it looked like it might pay off when they got 6 minutes worth of stoppage. It was a tough game to watch, and I mean, we deserved the win, I think, because by and large, everyone's really trying to win it. There
weren't that many clear-cut chances, were there, throughout the game? I mean, Fabianski made that fabulous save from the Ings effort that was goal-bound. When was that? At the start of the second half.
Was that the one where he sort of palmed it onto the post?
That's it. Yeah. It was going in, and it was a fingertip save. 56 minutes, wasn't it? Into the game, but. We were saying at the time that probably almost certainly the back pages is going to be filled tomorrow by images of Yarmolenko scoring that goal.
Of course, yeah.
It was an amazing scene, and because not the first time we've seen him actually, Nick, is it? Get emotional. I seem to recall him scoring. Remember when he was injured for about a year, wasn't he? Came back and he went to the stands, didn't he, after scoring? And
he did. He seems to be very well liked amongst the squad anyway. I mean, when he did get injured, they had T-shirts, didn't they? Or am I thinking of somebody else? No, it was Sanchez, wasn't it, when he got injured? My mistake.
No, I do recall when he came back, because he did that nasty. It was a knee ligament, wasn't it? And he was out for a while, and he scored his first game back or whatever, but fairly on his return, he scored, and it was I remember it was quite an emotional thing then. Yeah, so
lovely moment. Lovely to see. Three important points, gentlemen. West Ham back up to 5th in the Premier League. A really, really important win, especially as we were just saying. Wolves winning, beating Everton today. Even with the win today, we're still only 2 points ahead of them, and they're absolutely flying at the moment, aren't they? So it's going to be a real battle for those 5th and come the end of the season. Let's have a look ahead. We'll come back to today's game in a minute, but I just want to go ahead because Dan B, thank you, Dan, for letting us know that Sevilla were held to a draw this afternoon at Rayo Vallecano. Bebe scoring for the home side on the I think that was the first minute of the second half, before Thomas Delaney, who of course was absent from the team that beat West Ham 1-0 the other night, equalised in the 63rd minute to give Sevilla a share of the spoils there. What do we think about, Nick? I'll come to you first on this one. You know, Sevilla this week, we've got this is I don't think we can underestimate how much of a huge morale boost this must be for the squad ahead of this week's game. But no Ogbonna, no Soufal, no Bowen. Looks like we might have to do it without Cresswell and Antonio now. I mean, have we got any gas left to run on this week?
Adrenaline, pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
I think let's hope that we get the crowd is behind us from the off, because we can make a difference. I don't know what cliche about 12 man stuff, but we really can. Under the lights, London Stadium, 60,000 hammers screaming at the top of their lungs. I think we can do it. It's a massive morale boost today. Certainly going to be a morale boost to, you know, the two Milan players, let's face it, to, you know, Benrahma with his assists, Yarmolenko with his goal.
Yes,
Players that are quite clearly now going to have to start on Thursday night. What a fairy tale that will be. Yarmolenko getting a winner against Seville to put us in the quarterfinals of the Europa League.
Yeah.
You know, is it written in the stars? I'll be on Isaac during the game. So I've called Yarmolenko's going to get the goal. Sends us through to the last day of the Europa League.
Well, we'd certainly all take that, wouldn't we? We would take. No, I'm just going to put you on mute for a second, buddy, because there's a bit of crowd noise. As I come to Pinky on this one. Pinky, we're looking ahead to Thursday. We're going to have a quick look at the Seville game. Just saying how important it was to get that win today, and we were talking about it being a huge morale boost. But what sort of team do you think Moyes is going to put out? Would it be the same side that ended today's game?
I mean, the short answer, he'll put out the best team he possibly can. None of us at this stage know the extent of either Cresswell's or Antonio's injuries. None of us know for certain whether or not Bowen will be back. You know, but this is what happens. If you want to compete in more than a couple of competitions a year, you need more players.
Yeah.
We've known this since August. Our failure to get them could come back to haunt us. I want to be clear on this. I don't want it to. I don't want to prove a point to the club's board by just saying, told you so, we needed more players. Yeah. I mean, every single West Ham United, we all know we needed more. We didn't get them. So you've got to roll your sleeves up and get on with it. And what I want to see on Thursday night is not a 10 men behind the ball, try and nick it in the last minute approach. Because if we go with that, we won't. What I want to see, frankly, 4-2-4, all out, give it some. Yeah? Seriously. I don't care if we lose 6-0, provided we 7-0. Yeah? But, you've got to give it absolutely everything. And that, to me, means he may have to risk one of the youngsters, depending on what's gone on with Antonio, what have you, but he may have to risk a youngster who may not even have featured this season. He may never have played for our first team. Yeah. But David Moyes, come Thursday, he might just have to roll the dice and take his chances. And I hope if that's the circumstances that are dealt to him on Thursday because of injury, I hope he's brave enough to do it. I hope he can actually say, do you know what? May as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb, because, going out narrowly to say a 0-0 draw and saying, well, it was a narrow defeat, and, we run out of players.
Yeah.
I will tell Mr. Moyes right now, no one's interested in that as a headline.
Yeah.
No one's interested in gallant, brave effort, but it didn't quite come off. We need 2 goals. It's that simple, and not let any more in. Okay. Now, if he thinks the best way to get 2 goals is to pick every centre back at the club and get them on the pitch, well, fine. I'll back him for that if he thinks that's the best way to win.
Yeah.
But that's what I want, is a team on the pitch that he thinks genuinely can win. What I'd love to see, though, is almost Trevor Brooking-esque I'm going to chuck everything at this because it's pointless. It's pointless trying to scrape through. It's pointless doing all that. This is a Spanish team who have got their noses in front in a European competition, who are vastly experienced. Yeah. You've got to chuck everything you've got at them. Pots, pans, kettles. I don't care. Stale sandwiches. Everything we've got that you can legally put on a football field, I'll be chucking at Seville on Thursday night. Yeah. And if that means we're playing 3 kids for the under-23s, I'd support the manager in that.
Right, there you go. Of course, we might have to. The way things are going, we obviously wait to hear what the situation was with Michail Antonio. Hopefully, it was just a precautionary thing. He didn't, need carrying off the pitch. Cresswell, of course, also walked off a little bit gingerly. Noam, you might have seen that better than us, actually. Just before we come on to Seville, did you see, any reaction from Antonio or Cresswell when they were on the sidelines?
I couldn't see him on the sidelines. I know Antonio, the second he did it, it was him trying to sort of stretch to take the ball away from the player. And the second he did it, I thought my hands should go watching it. It was, I thought,
one of those.
So I can't we'll see him.
Okay. But Thursday, massive game. You will be there, of course. One of the 63,000 hammers cheering us on. Are we set for another Mets, or could it possibly be another Eintracht Frankfurt?
I love Frankfurt. One of the greatest evenings of my life. That was, my dad was in the 64, so I'd like to make this one. Yeah, so yeah, so
this train
It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough, and of course a highly emotional game as well. For you, obviously for the reasons that you've already outlined. But what was the reaction to the crowd, now when Antonio went down? Was it almost like a huge sigh? Oh, here we go again, kind of thing, or was it? Yeah.
I mean, it's been a few weeks, hasn't it, since he's done it? So we're going to do a bit. But the first time when he went down, we were really well. And then the second time.
Okay. Let's just come back briefly to today's game, if we can. We'll look ahead to the rest of the week in just a moment. Noam, I'll come to you first, as you're sitting down comfortably now on the tube. You've found a seat. Man of the match. Quite a few contenders today. There's some decent performances all round. Who sort of stood out for you this afternoon?
Well,
Sorry, buddy. We're having real trouble hearing you right now. I don't know if you can pull the mic a little bit closer.
How's that? Any better?
That's better. That's much better. Yeah.
We had Beckham did game again. Johnson, but I think if you ask me for my opinion, I'm just going to go with the headline one. Sometimes you just got to sort of go to the emotional side of things.
Yeah.
Today I haven't going. I think that's angry.
Okay. Good stuff. Yarmo for Noam. Nick, how about yourself?
Based solely on emotion, Yarmo.
Yep.
Based on ability, now this may well surprise you, Benrahma, because he assisted both of the goals. And although he was having a bit of a stinker in the first half, it very much turned it around in the second.
Yeah.
He's tracking back more as well. And that's what I like to see out of a player. If a player's having a bad game, do something about it, rather than Sol could go anonymous. So, although Yarmolenko's getting the actual award as such, I think special mention does need to be. If it wasn't for the emotion side of it, then I would have given it to Benrahma for his second half performance, and it would have been deserved.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Yarmo. Pinky, how about yourself?
Yeah, it's got to be Yarmo. I mean, come on. Professional footballer or not, I mean, how do you go out and perform as a top class professional sportsman? Yeah, in the circumstances in which he's living. Last week, he's picking his wife and kids up from the Polish border, I believe.
Yep.
And this week it's all right. Okay, now I'll give you a turn for half hour, boss. Yeah, stick this on. I'll show you what I can do. What does he do? Gets himself in a good position, gets off a shot, which forever and a day I'll say he's used the wrong foot, but he'll say I don't care, son, because I've scored and you're a fat bloke on the sofa. And in both cases he's right. So you have to say Yarmolenko. I get what Dyers is saying about Benny, because you know what, he's done a couple of really good things there. He also did a dozen really awful things today.
Yeah.
But we won. That's, it's the currency that matters. We won. We got 3 points. Aston Villa could probably sit there and say we had 4 or 5 players that played better than West Ham's lads. But they lost, so it doesn't matter. And I'm afraid it's one of those days where dig deep, win ugly, do what you've got to do. Probably all have the day off tomorrow. Yeah. They'll be in on Tuesday, preparing for a huge game on Thursday night. And the fact that they've managed to do it on the back of a win, you cannot overstate the importance of that. That's 2 back-to-back wins now at home. Yeah. Very important that, because the manager's going to be able to say, that's 2 back-to-back wins at home. Let's make it 3 in a row, lads. Yeah. And he'll then be saying, right, knock Seville out on Thursday and go and beat Spurs on Sunday.
Wouldn't that be a week? Wouldn't that just be a week and a half? Can you imagine?
Made football weeks.
Yes. Well, you never know. Well, we're off to the right start. In terms of my man of the match, I mean, it's got to be Yarmolenko. You have to give it to Yarmolenko, don't you? Given the circumstances, as the chaps have so rightfully and well described, to come out and even play football in those circumstances is a testament to the character of the man. And it was, of course, a fantastic goal as well to boot. The only other player I thought that hasn't really had a mention so far, and I'm getting a bit tired of saying his name every week, but it's a goalkeeper, Lucas Fabianski. I mean, at 0-0, he makes that really, really brilliant save from. It wasn't the best shot from Danny Ings. It was kind of a bit of a scuffed effort, but it was going in, and it was a fingertip save by Fabianski at full stretch, who just about managed to tip it onto the post. And if that goes in, you're 1-0 down, there's an hour gone, Antonio goes off, Cresswell goes off, the crowd naturally start to get a little bit unhappy, and you can only see it going downhill from there. But that really for me was possibly the most pivotal point of the game, and one which afforded us the opportunity to go on and win it in the end. So yes, Yarmolenko, clean sweep across the ball. Nomi's waving. I believe that means he's going to have to go. Nomi, do you want a final word before you leave us, my friend? I think he might have gone. I think he might have slipped under the tunnel. No, if you're still there and able to hear us, hang on, and we'll get you on in just. We're going to cut off pretty soon anyway, because plenty of content still to add. I'm still trying to catch up from last week when I was in Spain and had a bit of a pile up. But shall we have a quick look ahead to Tottenham next Saturday? Hopefully, we'll be basking in the glory of having beaten Villa at home and then having knocked the mighty Sevilla out of the Europa League, and then it's off to Tottenham, Pinky. Could it happen again?
Yeah, it could, because I look at Tottenham, and I'm a bit strange for West Ham United supporter, Graham. I don't see them as this big bogey club that a lot of our supporters do.
Yeah.
I don't think very much about them at all. Forever and a day, our rivals are Millwall. full stop. Forever and a day, Tottenham's rivals are Arsenal Football Club. Full stop.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
So all that side of it, to me, it is literally just another game. Okay. But having said all of that, they're a club in a real hole now. They're in a real hole because they've gambled, I think, recklessly this season by offloading one manager and appointing another. And that's done specifically to secure a top 4 finish, which their new business model, there's a phrase, is needed to fund the stadium purchase that they've spent £1 billion. Okay, say it slowly, count it in units of 1, and I'll come back in 30 years and let me know how you're getting on. Okay, £1 billion, and of course that means that they want to sell the club. There's talk in well-respected journalists. I think Matt Slater, has run with the story a couple of times in the Athletic that Joe Lewis and ENIC are seeking substantial investment in Tottenham Hotspur. So they're creaking financially. They've rolled the dice with the manager. They last night lost to the worst Manchester United team I can recall in 20 years. A team with a powder puff defensive capability, and yet they were still outscored by Man United to lose a game that they absolutely had to win. And having lost that game, their season, for my money now, is effectively over. So I think we can go to the Lane on Sunday in good heart to face an opposition whose manager doesn't want to be there. And you listen to his comments, after every game. It's find me £1 billion to buy a squad or I'm leaving, kind of approach. A striker that clearly doesn't want to be there, in Harry Kane. Supporters that don't want to be there because they rarely sell out. I think it's an average of 6,000 empty seats at their ground every week now, something like that. I think I saw the stat recently. So it's not a happy club. It's not a happy ship. Conte's a hard task manager as a manager, and I'm not sure all their players really want it. And I think it's a club that's in that awful stage of they're not really sure what they are or where they are.
Yeah,
but they know they kind of peaked a couple of seasons ago when Pocahontas probably overachieved in one season and then got punished for it the following season.
Yep.
So they're a bit of a mess, really. And I think we've got every chance of rocking up there with maybe a couple of our under-23s in the lineup, one or two of whom just might make themselves a little bit of hammer history and do something that we'll all love them forever and a day for. So, I'll be going to the Lane with a glad heart, I hope. I hope it'll be on the back of a European victory. And I hope we'll be going to take 3 points off Tottenham Hotspur because, do you know what? However much they say it doesn't matter to them, yes, it does.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Nick, Tottenham next Sunday, less than 72 hours after we hopefully put Sevilla out of the Europa League. It could be even shorter if it goes to extra time and penalties. But how do you fancy that trip to White Hart Lane next weekend?
To be honest, I don't want to really make the call now because we've still got another game to go. In true come fashion, focus on one game at a time. We don't know what's going to happen against Seville. We don't know who we're going to have playing. So if we have Bowen back and Cresswell back, then I think we're in with a chance. And it depends on how well Spurs do on Wednesday as well, really.
Yeah.
I think there's too many variables to call it a game a week on when we have got one of the biggest games in our recent history to come up. Okay. We might be absolutely shot. Would I take us beating Seville and losing against Spurs, hypothetically? Of course I would. It would mean they're likely to then finish above us. It would also mean that we're sort of one step closer to doing something that they rib us about. You know, they've been in the Champions League, and we're not going to get there in the top four. Our only chance this season now is winning the Europa, and I think we're capable of doing it. That's the thing. I actually think we're capable of doing it with a little bit of luck, a little bit of tenacity. We've got. I'm not saying we will. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sticking my neck out that far, but I think we can. Which is, I've never said that about West Ham side before.
Wonders will never cease. Okay, good stuff. Gentlemen, that's pretty much as far as we're going to take it this afternoon. I'm sure you've got other things to be doing. I've got some dinner to go to. Looks like Pinky's ready for a nap. Nick, I'm sure you're busy as well. Just a couple of comments that have come through on Twitter, on social media in the last few minutes. Vladimir Sufal, in a message to teammate Andrei Yarmolenko, says, "No one deserves that more than you, bro." And Thomas Suchek, his Czech compatriot, says, "An important game, Andrei Yarmolenko with the winner. Very glad for you, my brother." And our CEO, Lady Karen Brady, saying, "I had one of those moments last week when, in my role as a member of the House of Lords, I was invited to the Commons to watch Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's historic address. It was truly remarkable." Nothing about today's game, posted about 2 minutes ago. Statman Dave talking about Everton, actually. Everton beaten again today. It says Everton's 6 Premier League games under Frank Lampard. 3-1 defeat to Newcastle, 3-0 win against Leeds, 2-0 defeat against Southampton, 1-0 defeat against Man City, 5-0 defeat against Tottenham, 1-0 defeat against Wolves. Time's running out, Frank. Certainly is. And finally, Statman Dave, once again, Said Benrahma's game by numbers against Aston Villa. One of Nick's picks for man of the match. This afternoon, narrowly behind Andrei Yarmolenko. Said Benrahma, 100% long balls completed and 81% pass accuracy, 57 touches, 5 ball recoveries, which is probably the most outstanding stat from this lot. 4 shots, 2 successful take-ons, 2 chances created, 2 assists at his creative best, says Statman Dave. That's about it from this afternoon. I don't think I'm got any more comments to read out for you. It's finished West Ham United 2, Aston Villa 1. Gentlemen, your final thoughts before we bid sayonara to everyone on the stream. Pinky first, please.
Yeah, I mean, great win for us today. You know, it's not very picturesque, but sometimes it is just about the 3 points. Terrific win. Very pleased for Yarmo. But I'll repeat again the call for our club to issue a clear and unambiguous statement about where Daniel Kretinsky's source of funds has really come from, and an absolute assurance that there is no dirty money involved, because football has got to get his act together. And if the only way to succeed is basically to cheat with inappropriate funding, that's not for me. So I'd like to know West Ham, please.
Okay, there you go. A message sent loud and clear to the club. Nick, final word.
Final word. I wish that Pinky spoke a bit longer so I could finish off a bit of KFC I've got in my goal.
Sounds like it's coming back up.
No, I'm trying to.
Good man. Do you want me to come back to you? All right.
Done. Right, there we go. See, normally Pinky goes on a bit, so I was like, "Oh, I've got another mouthful," and then it comes out with that little bit, and I'm left here hanging. Final word. Fairy tale. And because that's what it was really for Yarmo, proper made up for him, and final word from me as well, which not been said yet. That win was for Chaz.
Excellent, good stuff. You've actually taken the words right out of my mouth. I was actually going to say that was that one was for Chaz and Noam Senior, of course, as well, who we lost recently. But yeah, it's been an emotional sort of day, isn't it, gents? Really, all in all. Also, Yarmolenko scoring the first goal. Those are very emotional scenes at the ground, which I'm sure there won't be many dry eyes in the house after that particular moment. But it has finished, as we said, West Ham United 2, Aston Villa 1. The Hammers back up to 5th in the Premier League, giving the Hammers that morale boosting victory ahead of one of the club's biggest games this century, coming up on Thursday night against Seville at the London Olympic Stadium. Pinky, you're going to be there. Hopefully we can get you after the game, celebrating with the rest of us. Nick, you and I will be on the live stream again on Thursday if all goes well. Hopefully you guys on the stream at the moment will be joining us if you're not able to make the game. My thanks, of course, as always, go to my fellow panelists, Pinky and Nick, for their company this afternoon. Enjoyable as always. And of course to Noam, who managed to join us for a little bit of a recap after the game. That is it. Sounds like I've got a bit of KFC stuck down there somewhere. That is it from us this afternoon. Thank you, as always, to everyone joining us on the live stream for your company. We always enjoy reading your comments. If you've enjoyed the stream, give us a little like down there and come and join us on the KUMB.com forum match thread for more post-match discussion from here. Until Thursday night, that's it from us. We'll see you all again very soon. Take care, everyone. And until then,
I'm on your ones.
Good night.